Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORION NWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the New York Yankees versus the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be there in roughly 4 to 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Let's get it, baby. And on the thumb on the left, you know who it is. The best player in MLB today in 2025, not named Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge. And on the right, our ace. If we have any chance of being able to compete today, he's going to have a good game. Brian Woo. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting New York Yankees. Leading off for the Yankees in center field, had 2 homers last night, Trent Grisham. Batting second, playing right field, Aaron Judge. Batting third, playing left field for New York, Cody Bellinger. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt. Batting fifth, catching today for New York, Austin Wells. Batting sixth, playing shortstop for the Yankees, Anthony Volpe. Batting seventh, DHing for New York, Jason Dominguez. Batting eighth, playing third base, Oswald Peraza. And batting ninth, playing second base, Yordi Vivas. And on the mound for the Yankees, their ace, 6-0 record, an ERA of 1.05, probably our toughest test so far this year, Max Fried. Now let's get into the starting lineups here for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting third, catching today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Batting fifth, DHing today for the Mariners, Mitch Garver. Batting sixth, playing second base, Dylan Moore. Batting seventh, playing first base, Donovan Solano. Batting eighth, playing right field, Leody Taveras. And batting ninth, playing third base, Ben Williamson. And on the mound for the Mariners, our ace, 4-1 record with an ERA of 3.25. It is Brian Woo. And we'll be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour, 30 to 50 overall, and obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. Odin sending a dono in the morning, even if he may or may not be here later on. You know, that's the type of love and support that you love to be able to see when you can get the support even before the stream starts. Appreciate you, Odin. You are a real one. Appreciate you very, very much. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack bang bang. Appreciate you, my guy. Reflect, he's like, I'm ready. He's in here. Daniel in the building. What's good? Captain in the building. Trident's up. First like, absolutely. Reflect with a 3-er. And obviously getting on the dono train early. Obviously definitely helps. Appreciate you very, very much. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. And again, hopefully it'll be better than yesterday. It's awesome that we got Wu on the mound, but when you look on the other side, I wish it was anybody but Max Fried. Essentially, it's like going against Garrett Cole, even though Garrett Cole isn't, in the lineup. So we'll see what it goes, as the game progresses, but it may end up being relatively a lower scoring matchup, early on, if it ends up being a pitching duel. 7 starts for Wu, 4-1 record, 3.25 ERA, 44.1 innings pitched. He's given up 4 home runs so far in 2025, and we'll see where it goes as the matchup progresses. And again, this is probably our toughest matchup. I mean, we've gone against Scooball and a few others, so we understand what it's going to take, but, based on record and ERA, statistically, this is going to be our hardest matchup here in 2025, but at least we got Wu on the other side to give us a chance. No Polo in the lineup, but we may see him DH later, and then obviously we got the rubber match tomorrow live at 1 o'clock Pacific, and we got La Piedra, Luis Castillo, who essentially is our second best pitcher at the moment, while we're still waiting for George Kirby and Logan Gilbert to get healthy. All right, Wu, let's go, baby. We need a strong start. First pitch to Brian Wu to Trent Grisham, right down the pipe, fouled off, 95 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Can't let Grisham go for 2 homers like he did yesterday. Big facts. Top of the first, 0-0. Wu on the mound, Grisham in the box. 0-1 pitch, high and outside with the 4-seam fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike to Trent Grisham. Megan's getting in on the dono train as well. Let's go Yanks. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. We're off to a good start already. Appreciate you very, very much, and we'll end up getting photos sprinkled in, throughout the broadcast. 1-1 pitch. Low and at the knees with a slider, 89 miles an hour for Max Fried. Tries to jam him. 2 balls and 1 strike from Brian Wu to Trent Grisham. Two-one pitch. Tries to jam the hitter inside at the head. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Wu to Grisham. Top of the first, 0-0 Yankees and Mariners. 2-2 pitch. Takes a big swing and a miss on a pitch high and outside with a 4-seam fastball by Wu. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs, and nobody on. Top of the first, it's 0-0 Yankees and Mariners. Let's go. Grisham in the box. Brian Wu on the mound. Come on, Wu. Find a way, baby. In play on the 3-2 pitch. And Grisham flies out to right. Leody Taveras is there, 1 away. That's much better than giving up a home run, which we saw Grisham get 2 on Julio in center field yesterday. Next up, right fielder, the best player in MLB in 2025 statistically. He's batting .414, Aaron Judge. And I would not be surprised if Aaron Judge goes yard and goes for a homer today or tomorrow. He's been so hot this year. I mean, I hope it doesn't end up being, today, but against Brian Wu. But, Aaron Judge does Aaron Judge things, and, it's definitely hard to contain a player like that. In play, and gets good connectivity out of that, but flies out to the center. Julio is there, 2 away. Next up for the Yankees, left fielder, former Dodger and Cub, Cody Bellinger. What a catch by Julio Rodriguez on that Aaron Judge. Big bomb out there. And again, nice to see Julio hustle, because obviously that felt like there was a couple plays, if he was in position like he was there, maybe he would have robbed those 2 homers from Grisham yesterday, or at least 1. But that was a hell of a catch. That definitely reminded me of Ken Griffey Jr. right there. And good speed, lays out, sliding into the dirt. And again, if he doesn't get there, that easily is a double for Aaron Judge. First pitch to Cody Bellinger from Brian Wu, inside on the line. Four-seam fastball, probably should have been a strike, but called ball. 1-0 count from Wu to Bellinger. Let's go, Brian. We're going to need you to go 6 solid innings. And if he can go 6 solid innings, maybe we can find a way to win this game, 4-2. But if Wu ends up getting exited in play on the 1-0 pitch, and Bellinger doubles to left. But again, if Wu goes out like in the 3rd or 4th inning, we might get blasted like 11-2. So there isn't really an in-between when you typically play the Yankees. Nice double by Bellinger. Randy out of position as usual. Next up, first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. And hopefully we can get Paul out and having kind of a rebirth in his career, after exiting the St. Louis Cardinals and entering the New York Yankees. Agreed. First pitch to Goldschmidt. High and in the zone, fouled off. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by Wu. 0-1 count. Let's go, Brian. We need a solid 6, especially when our bullpen has been extremely shaky. And as far as runs, we're probably going to have to find a way to put up 5 to 10 runs, every game you go against the Yankees. And hell, even, if we would have put up 6 or 7, that still wouldn't have been good enough in yesterday's performance. And, we put up 5. And normally when the Mariners put up 5, when the pitching is decent, we can hang. But when the Yankees put up 11, even if we would have doubled our number and put up 10, we still would have lost. Next pitch on that 1-0-1 count, fouled off again with the sinker this time around from Wu. Now behind in the count 0-2 for Paul Goldschmidt. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wu to Goldschmidt. Top of the first, runner at second, Cody Bellinger with a double into left field. 2 outs and a 1-2 count from Wu to Goldie. And in play, and Goldschmidt flies out to J.P. Crawford. There we go. We get out of the inning unscathed, and that's what we need if we want to be able to compete here against New York. Got to try to win at least minimum 1 out of 3, but if we win today, we will have a chance for tomorrow. Next up for the Mariners, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Batting second, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. I'm going to go grab my drink here real quick, and then if Odin comes in, we'll start dropping some photos for him with the $25 dono to get the stream started, and good love and respect from Reflect and Megan to keep the dono train going. So I appreciate that, and anything that you guys want to be able to see photo-wise, just holler, and I'll squeeze them in as soon as I can. I'm going to go grab my drink here real quick before we get into JP's at-bat. Go, baby. We were able to bust out the trident, 3 times. Julio, Polo, and Cal, but even that was not enough. And again, this is a very good team, just like us this year. And, we'll see. I would hope at one point or another we can get Leo Rivas to play. I know me and Reflect have been, kind of bitching and moaning that, again, when you have a player that's batting 300 to 350 and has limited playing time, they're acting like he's a, 100 hitter and that he's not good enough to even see the field. And every once in a while you'll get him in as a pinch runner, but I'm still very confused where we're not using Rivas like we should. In play on the first pitch, and JP grounds out to first, 1 away. That was way too fast. Cool kid in the building. What's good? Down goes JP. Hopefully he'll be a little bit more patient at his second at-bat. Batting second, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. And on the mound, the former Atlanta Brave, 6-0 record with an ERA of 1.05, Max Fried. This is going to be the toughest matchup that we are going to face up to this point. And Julio, first pitch, grounds out to third, throw to first, 2 away. And hopefully that is not going to be a sign of things to come. You're going to have to be a little bit more patient on Max Fried instead of just swinging at the first pitch, JP, and first pitch, Julio. Next up, big dumper catcher Cal Raleigh. Hit home run number 13 yesterday, and we're definitely going to need some base knocks, here early and often. Appreciate that, Captain. If you can keep track of the donos and the likes, I'd be greatly appreciated. First pitch for Max Fried to Cal Raleigh. Takes a strike looking on the line. Four-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour. 0-1 count. Bottom of the first, 2 outs, nobody on. Max Fried on the mound, Cal Raleigh in the box. And especially with the Garrett Cole injury, that signing for New York was a godsend. Because, again, think about if you ended up having Garrett Cole and Max Fried. Then we're really talking about a dynamic duo. But since Garrett Cole had that, season-ending injury and whatnot, so, it'll be interesting to see what Cole looks like when he ends up being healthy again down the road. But obviously having a guy that was a stud for, the Braves for quite some time to come over, 6-0 record, ERA of 1, that's incredible. Pitch fouled off right down the middle from Fried to Cal. 0-2 count. 0-2 pitch. Cal popped up into left. And that is out number 3. A very, very fast inning for the Yankees. And hopefully we can get better patience in the box from JP, Julio, and Cal. But again, we are going against our toughest foe in 2025. Max Fried from the Braves, 6-0 record, ERA of 1.05. So it may take us until we get Max out before we start raking. And, I hope that we can get at least 1 or 2 runs on him before he exits. And hopefully we can get him to exit by like the 5th inning, 1 inning before you're supposed to. But if he goes 6, then it's going to be a sprint in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And hopefully we're not down by more than 5 runs by the 7th inning, because it could end up being a pitching duel here today. End of the 1st inning, we're knotted up here still at 0. Let's see who's up next here in the top of the 2nd for the Yankees. Next up for New York, catcher with a 3-run blast, Austin Wells. Batting second in the 6-hole, shortstop Anthony Volpe. And batting third, DHing for New York, Jason Dominguez. Let's go Mariners. And Garrett Cole underwent Tommy John surgery for the torn UCL, and it'll, it's going to sideline him for the whole year, but we'll see what happens next year. But that Garrett Cole signing definitely, it's crazy to think for Max Fried and then Garrett Cole, if they could have been healthy together. But, the Yankees have money. They know what they're doing. $12 likes to 20. Let's get there, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. It'll help us get into the algorithm sooner than later, and I appreciate that very much. We got, 35 roughly there in the room, so about, only a fraction. We need 1 more to get to 10, 11 more to get to 20, and the faster that we can get to 20, it takes literally 1 second to hit that like button, and then we'll get into the algorithm, and it'll recommend us to others, and we'll get more people in the stream. So if you could do your boy a solid, it'd be greatly appreciated. And then right now on the dono train, we are sitting at 23, 25, 48? We're at 48 on the dono train. Next up, Austin Wells. First pitch fouled off. Inside, tried to jam the hitter. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. High and away with a 4-seam fastball by Wu. 1 ball and 1 strike to Austin Wells. 1-1 pitch. Fouled off with a 4-seam fastball high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wu to Wells. Let's go, Brian. We need solid outing here. Can't give up too many homers, and hopefully, for Woo's sake, he gives up 3 runs or less. And if he does that and can go 6 innings, we're going to have a chance to win this game today. 1-2 pitch, fouled off, change up low and away by Austin Wells. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs, and nobody on. We're in the top of the 2nd inning, knotted up still at 0. One-two pitch, fouled off again, right down the middle with the changeup. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes from Brian Woo to Austin Wells. Hopefully we drop a couple bunts down. I'm not really sure if Fried is really going to hit anybody or we're going to get a bunch of walks today. It's going to be definitely difficult on both ends, but obviously at the moment, Max Fried pitching a little bit better at this point in the 2025 season than Woo, but Woo is our number 1 right now until we get George Kirby and Logan Gilbert healthy. Sweeper, outside, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Brian Woo to Austin Wells. 2-2 pitch, and got him. Made him chase on a changeup 5 feet off the plate. Nice punch out there for Brian Woo. I like the electricity. 1 away. Nice job, Woo. Next up, shortstop Anthony Volpe. And, it's probably not realistic for Woo to get, 7 to 10 Ks today, but, if he can get somewhere in that 4 to 6 range, that might be good enough for us to be able to at least compete here this evening. First pitch from Woo to Volpe. Takes a strike looking with a sinker right down the plate. 0-1 count. Oh-1 pitch. Fouled off with the sweeper in the zone. Behind in the count now 0-2 from Woo to Volpe. And so far, Woo's looking pretty good, as far as his control and hitting his pitches in the zone. But anyone that has ever watched the Yankees play, realize that, these guys can hit in and out of the zone, and you have to be very creative here, with the calls. And luckily, we got Cal behind the plate. And Volpe, see you later. Struck him out. 2 away. There we go. Nice job by Woo bringing the electricity early, and hopefully that will continue, and it looks like it will be a pitcher's duel here today. Nice job, Brian Woo. Another punch-out. I love it. Next up for the Yankees in the 7-hole, DHing Jason Dominguez. And prayers up for Oswaldo Cabrera. He had the broken ankle yesterday, obviously on the injured list, and will miss the rest of the 2025 season. And obviously got put on a stretcher, backboard, and ambulance late last night. And prayers up to him and his family and the Yankee organization. Hate seeing injuries that are like that on any given day for any given player. First pitch from Woo to Dominguez. Tries to jam him at the knees. 4-seam fastball. Just right on the line. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Right down the pipe with a 4-seam fastball. 96 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike from Woo to Dominguez. Top of the second. 0-0 Yankees and Mariners. Dominguez 250 average, 5 homers, 19 ribbies with an OPS of 792 in 34 games so far in this 2025 season. 1-1 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Woo to Dominguez. 2-1 pitch, low and in the zone. Takes a strike looking with that 4-seam fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on. Woo on the mound, Jason Dominguez in the box. Two-two pitch, low and away. Right on the line, could have been either way, but gets the ball call from the ump there. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs, with Wu on the mound and Jason Dominguez in the box. And again, since Oswaldo Cabrera ended up fracturing that ankle and broke that, obviously there's going to be openings for more playing time for guys like this, like Jason Dominguez, and obviously the replacement. And I don't know if Yorbi Vivas is going to be the guy that's going to play, obviously second, third with Oswald Peraza, but, we'll figure it out as the season goes on. And got him. There we go. Nice to be able to get the same kind of wheeling and dealing effect on the mound, because you already know with Max Fried being 6-0 and an ERA of 1.05 is ridiculous. Just like Aaron Judge batting over 400, it's that same kind of equivalent. Nice to be able to see Brian Wu wheeling and dealing, and Julio getting Dominguez out on that fly out. Let's go to the bottom of the second inning and let's see if we can get some hits and runs, baby. Next up for the Mariners in the 4-hole, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Batting second in the 5-hole, DHing Mitch Garver. And I actually wish this was Leo Rivas. Find a way to get him to play. But let's see if Mitch can do something here today. And batting 6th, playing second base, another spot there Leo could have played, Dylan Moore. I just hate being able to see players that have talent not getting a chance to play at all, but hopefully he'll get a chance later on. Yeah, especially getting swept by the Blue Jays and getting our ass kicked yesterday. So at some point, we have to be able to end the slide, and hopefully we can find a way to win today, or at least compete today. But if we win today, we're going to have a good chance to win tomorrow. But if we lose today, we're going to have to do anything and everything and pull out all the stops to win tomorrow with Luis Castillo, because the last thing that we want, is to get swept by the Blue Jays and then get swept in the next series. You don't want to go on a downward spiral. And again, we're getting very close to getting George Kirby and Logan Gilbert back. We just have to tread water and stay afloat. And let's be honest, a lot of teams that would play, the Blue Jays or the Yankees, would have that same kind of situation happen. More so the Yankees than the Blue Jays. I think a lot of teams could win 2 out of 3 against the Blue Jays, or at least 1. But it just was our luck, that they were hot, in that series, and the bats kind of cooled off from us. And our bullpen was probably the worst that we've seen, up to this point in 2025. But, when you play the Yankees, it's like, everybody has got to step up, not just the pitchers, not just the bullpen, but every single player, knowing what it means to play a team like New York. And that's why I like this matchup. I don't like losing against the Yankees, but I like to, feel like everyone has to step up. It's not like we're playing the Angels today. First pitch, low and at the knees with a sweeper by Max Fried. 78 miles an hour, 1-0 count to Randy Arozarena. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking with a sweeper right down the pipe. 1 ball and 1 strike from Fried to Randy. 1-1 pitch from Fried, fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Come on, Randy, we need you, baby. And 6-0 record, 1.05 ERA. We haven't played anybody that good on the mound, at least record-wise and ERA-wise, even though we've gone against Scubal already and a few other studs in 2025. But we have not matched up with someone with an undefeated record, let alone at this point in the season, and an ERA of literally 1. Pretty wild. 1-2 pitch. Pitch is low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Max Fried to Randy Arozarena. No, they don't have the King's Court anymore, I believe, because, King Felix is no longer playing. So they definitely renamed some of the other, locations in the park, to theme it for guys that are on the team now. Popped up and flied out to right, 1 away. Next up for the Mariners, Mitch Garver. First pitch to Mitch Garver, high and away with a 4-seam fastball by Max Fried, 88 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 20 likes within the first hour, so that way we can hit the algorithm. We're at 15 right now with 44 in the room. There's plenty of wiggle room for you to hit that like button to help us. We need 5 more out of the 30 that haven't done it yet, and then that'll hit us into the algorithm, and we should be able to hit 50 before this game is over. In play on the 1-0 pitch, and Garver singles the center. Nice job, Garv. And again, a guy that was getting booed and getting threats, from individuals on social media last year, and he was not having a good year, just like Jorge Polanco. But nice to see Polo, going beast mode, and Garver getting better and better at every single opportunity he has a chance to play. Nice job, Mitch. Next up in the 6 hole, second baseman Dylan Moore. First pitch to Demo, takes a strike looking with a curveball, 78 miles an hour. 0-1 count. Go, baby. Bottom of the second, runner at first, Mitch Garver. 0-1 pitch. Curveball, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dylan Moore. And if we can just find a way, to have Max Fried hit a couple guys, but our guys don't get hurt, or walk a couple guys, so that way we can just get a couple freebies, at first base to try to move those guys into scoring position and steal some bags and have a good opportunity for runners in scoring position. That would be great. But Max has been so lights out in 2025 that may not happen. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging high and at the head. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. Runner at first, Mitch Garver. 0-0 here in the bottom of the second between the Yankees and the Mariners. And yesterday, the Yankees brought all the bats, and they all came alive, and we lost game 1 11-5. But really the story of the game was, Oswaldo Cabrera, fracturing that ankle late in the game and, having a season end. That was rough. In play, and Demo singles to left, Garver to second. Here we go, baby. Anytime you can rough up a pitcher that is as good as Max Fried, you're going to have a chance, and hopefully we can knock him in. Garver now at second with a single, Demo with a single. Next up, a guy, it hasn't really been working too much, but what can we do? First baseman, Donovan Solano. Maybe we can have Solano force a walk. Now, if we would have had someone, maybe smaller, like a Leo Rivas, you could maybe bunt and then, try to move the guys over, but we'll see what we get here out of Solano. First pitch from Max Fried to Solano, takes a strike looking on the line, forcing fastball by Fried, 95 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Bottom of the second, runners at first and second, Garver and Demo. Can we knock them in? We need to. Got to find a way. Can't leave too many stranded, especially when you're going against the Yankees. 0-1 pitch. Pitch is low and away with the changeup, 85 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out, with runners at first and second for Seattle early on. Come on, Donovan. Even if Donovan gets on with a walk, I'll take that. Anything positive to help the team win. 1-1 pitch, sweeper, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Fried to Solano. Come on, Donovan. Well, he's been better than he was at the beginning of the year, where he was 4 for 40. He had a batting average at one point that was like .50. So at least now he's hovering around 150, which is still terrible, but better than what he was doing at the beginning of the year. 4-seam fastball, high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike with 1 out for Max Fried to Donovan Solano. And if I'm Solano here, don't fucking swing. If he ends up punching you out, so be it. But don't swing, and you might end up getting a walk. And then if we can get bases loaded here, and again, there's no guarantee if the Mariners get bases loaded with no outs or 1 out that we even get 1 run. But you have to think, after what happened yesterday, something's got to give. Solano. And there it is, doing us dirty. Damn you, Donovan. And we get nothing. Brutal. But again, what can we do? Obviously Luke Raley is still hurt. I wish Leo Rivas could play first base, and that way we wouldn't even have to play Solano. But sometimes that's what happens. You end up hitting into a double play, and that's what Donovan Solano did. Not surprised. But at least we got 2 guys on base, and, next time around, maybe that'll be the inning where we can get something done. But definitely a squandered opportunity there. And again, if Donovan Solano just doesn't swing, maybe that double play doesn't happen and we actually get a 1-0 lead. But again, that's Donovan Solano for you. What can you say? All right, let's see who's up next here for the Yankees in the top of the third. Next up for the Yankees in the top of the third baseman Oswald Peraza. Batting second in the 9-hole, second baseman Yorby Vivas. And batting third, center fielder Trent Grisham. Yeah, definitely our worst player on the team. You know, obviously between him and Trent Thornton. But Thornton is obviously on the IL, so. All right, we're 2 likes away from 20. We're almost there with 24 minutes to go. If you're in the room and haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We have at least 22 people in the room that haven't done it yet. We got 18. 2 more to go to hit the algorithm. Let's go. Peraza in play with the sinker. Grounds out to third. Throw to first. 1 away. That's our guy right there, Big Ben Williamson. You don't want to hit it to third, baby, because you'll get out. Nice job, Ben. Down goes Oswald Peraza. Batting second, playing second base, Yorby Vivas. Top of the third with 1 out. First pitch from Wu de Vivas, about 10 feet off the plate, high and away with the sinker, 94 miles an hour, 1-0 count. And anything photo-wise, Megan, Reflect, Odin, let me know, and I can always sprinkle those in either throughout the broadcast or at the end of the broadcast, whatever suits you guys based on your schedules. Vivas grounds out to second, throw to first, 2 away. Brian Wu, at least he's wheeling and dealing, and we're not down 3-4-5-0 already. And I like seeing the pitching duel so far here today. Next up, 0 for 1, center fielder Trent Grisham, who ended up having 2 home runs at center field at Julio Rodriguez, one that went off his mitt and went over, and then another one where he was playing too shallow and would have played deeper. He probably would have robbed at least one, but could have robbed both homers yesterday. And even if he would have robbed both homers, we still would have lost. But, you know, it's just one of those things, you know, you want your star player, you know, to be like Ken Griffey Jr. out in center. And he did have that amazing catch in the first inning. We just need to see the consistency. First pitch, strike looking high and away from Wu to Grisham. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Low and at the knees with the sweeper, 85 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs and nobody on. We're in the top of the third with a pitching duel with our ace, Brian Wu, on the mound and Max Fried on the other side for New York. Okay, no worries. I'm working, you're working, Megan. So yeah, well, I'll sprinkle some in when we have a chance in here. No worries. And we get out of the inning. There we go. I like the way that the Mariners are playing today. You know, we're not going to hang our heads on what happened yesterday, and hopefully we can get it done here today. Next up for the Mariners in the bottom of the third, right fielder Leody Taveras. Batting in the 9-hole, third baseman Ben Williamson. And batting third, hopefully can drop a bunt down and maybe be a little bit more patient in the box, J.P. Crawford. Let's go, baby. All right, let's see if we can get a few photos for Megan here sprinkled in. Reflect and Odin. We'll give Megan some Aaron Judge and Juan Soto from last year, from Giancarlo. Try to sprinkle in a few more of some of your other favorites throughout the broadcast here. 6 more likes to 30. Let's get there, baby. First pitch from Max Fried to Leody Taveras, high and away with a four-seam fastball, 1-0 count. And again, 6-0 record with an ERA of 1.05, which is one of the best, if not the best, in MLB right now. 1-0 pitch. Inside with a sweeper, tries to jam the hitter, takes a strike looking, which should have been called ball. Kind of a little favoritism call there by Fried. 1 ball and 1 strike to Leody Taveras, which it should be 2-0 count, but we'll see if we get a makeup call. 1-1 pitch, fouled off with the changeup right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Leody Taveras. But, we know umps, again, the strike zone for each ump is definitely going to be different. But, when it's like a couple, feet off the plate, makes you kind of wonder, But again, just because you see the box on TV or on an app doesn't mean that that's what that ump sees, when he's calling the game. 1-2 pitch. High and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes from Fried to Taveras, and that one could have been called strike and got called ball, so that was probably your makeup call right there on pitch number 4. 2-2 count, bottom of the third, 0-0 Yankees and Mariners. Fried on the mound and Leody Taveras in the box. RPG in the building, what's good? Judah in the building, what's good? Pitch is high and away. Good eye by Leody Taveras. 3-2 pitch and strikes out swinging. 1 away. Nice job there by Max Fried. I see you. We're not haters here. We'll still give the love, even if it's not on Seattle. Nice job by Max there. See who's up next. In the 9-hole, third baseman Ben Williamson. And we need Ben to get on base, and he's going to make you those defensive gems at third on the daily. But we need that bat to come alive, and hopefully he'll get at least 2 hits today because we're going to need them. First pitch from Max Fried to Ben Williamson, high and away with a curveball, 73 miles an hour. Tried to fool him. He didn't bite. 1-0 count. Let's go, Big Ben. And I think that, I'm not the only one, but this has probably got to be the, most, surprising player that the Mariners have brought up in years. I don't think that anybody anticipated Ben Williamson being this good and possibly being the starter at third, for the next 5 to 10 years. It's like normally when we bring a guy up, it's like Ryan Bliss or Tyler Locklear, where they're pretty good, but they're more AAA players and they're not ready yet. But Big Ben has shown that he's been ready, since game number 1 that he got to play in. Pitch is high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ben Williamson. And it's crazy, too, because Ben wasn't even one of the top 5, out of the 10 guys that we had in the farm in the top 100. Since we have the number 1 farm, system, guys with like Cole Young and Colt Emerson and Harry Ford and Felman Celestin and Lazaro Montes and Durangelo. And it's like you have so many of these like big name guys, and those guys are still in the farm. So it's like when you have guys that aren't even in the top 10, in the farm system in the top 100, they're still like good players. It really makes you excited to think like, okay, like if Ben is this good, can you imagine when some of the other high-end prospects come up? And maybe not all of them will stick, but there definitely will be a few that will. Pitch fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Max Fried to Ben Williamson. And it definitely has been a pitching duel so far here tonight. Lauren in the building. What's good? And I know you're probably feeling a little bit better now since the Blue Jays and Mariners aren't playing each other. But again, we won 2 out of 3 in Toronto. You guys got the sweep in Seattle. And now you can focus separately on the Blue Jays and the Mariners being there in Canada. Pitch is low and away to Ben Williamson with the changeup, 87 miles an hour. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out from Max Fried to Big Ben Williamson. Let's go, Ben. I mean, get on with a walk, find a way. And he's got good patience in the box. Probably one of the best, patient hitters as far as a guy coming up from the farm system from AAA to Tacoma Rainiers that I've seen in a long fucking time. Bottom of the third, we're knotted up at 0. Again, we've had a couple hits, so far in the matchup, but, wasn't really able to, get anybody in with a double play by Donovan Solano that kind of ended that. But at least a good sign that we're able to get a little bit, on Max Fried, especially with the 6-0 record and ERA of 1.05, which is utterly insane. Pitch fouled off. 4-seam fastball, tries to jam the hitter in the zone. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out from Fried Williamson. 8 pitches in on this at-bat. 3 more likes to 30. Let's get there, baby. See if we can get those 3 likes to 30 within 13 minutes, and then we should be able to get to 50 tonight. Come on, Big Ben. Keep grinding. In play. And grounds out to third, throw to first, 2 away. And even though he didn't get on base, I applaud the guy. Really grinds out those at-bats. He'll get at least a hit before this game is up. Hopefully 2, though. All right, next up, shortstop J.P. Crawford. 0 for 1 with a little dribbler on the first pitch of the game. Same thing with Julio, first pitch out as well. And hopefully we can find a way. First pitch, takes a strike looking with a sinker this time around from Fried. 0-1 count to JP. We need someone to be able to start the rally. Let's go, baby. And JP has definitely had a resurgence and a rebirth in his career. After being the leadoff hitter for many, many years. Then we brought Victor Robles in last year, took his spot. They moved JP to the 9-hole. Probably affected him mentally, and a little bit of an ego hit. But he still maintained, the good attitude. And then obviously with injuries to Victor Robles and others, made his way back up to the top of the order. And again, I would rather have JP leading off than Julio, which we did experiment, with that from time to time. And Julio's rookie year and, sporadically in 2023, 2024, and 2025. 272 average with 3 homers with JP. Pitches low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. 2-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking high and away. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by Max Fried. For the most part, him and Wu are all over the strike zone. I mean, every once in a while, you're going to see a pitch way off the plate, but, very impressed from Wu and Fried up to this point. Pitch right down the pipe with the sinker, 97 miles an hour by Fried, fouled off by JP. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Bottom of the third, and we're knotted up still at 0. And we might have to wait until both starters go out before each team starts to rake. But, even with as good as Fried and Wu have been up to this point, no guarantee, that they won't get blown up at some point here or there. Pitch fouled off. by J.P. Crawford, and J.P. strikes out swinging. Tries to grind out that at-bat, but again, too much Max Fried. What can you say? All right, let's go to the top of the fourth inning, and we'll see who's up next here for the Yankees. Next up for the Yankees, 0 for 1, right fielder Aaron Judge. Batting second, left fielder on deck, 1 for 1, Cody Bellinger. And batting third, 0 for 1, first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. See if I can squeeze in a few photos for Megan while she's working. Get a couple in there for Reflect as well.
Oh my gosh.
You don't got too much time in between commercials, so you got to work fast. Something up here for Reflect as well. We got anything to help us with a little good luck. And the Mariner Moose, even though we typically have him come out when we're down, there's no rule in the book saying that we can't bring him out when the game is tied when we're looking for that Soto mojo. So let's bust that out here for Reflect as well. Never too early to bust out the Moose. Let's go, Maurice. We need all the good luck. Tell him, Macklemore. Let's go. Next up for the Yankees, 0 for 1, Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge batting .411. Ridiculous to be this deep into the season and batting over 400. First pitch to Aaron Judge. Low and away. 1-0 count from Wu to Judge. Last 162 games, 370 average, 65 homers, 163 ribbies with an OPS of over 1,200. And again, no one else has done anything like that, like ever. So again, it really does, with no steroids or PEDs on top of that. So that's what makes it, special when you see a player like Judge or Shohei Ohtani. It's awesome to be able to see these guys represent baseball in the utmost way. Pitches outside. 2 balls and 1 strike from Wu to Aaron Judge. Two 2-1 pitch. Takes a strike swinging. High and inside. Tried to jam the hitter at the head. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Judge. I mean, I got a Judge ball in that 62 home run season, and that was a very, very special year. Julio's rookie year. And again, Judge is looking like he's going to have another MVP type of season this year. Obviously, he's got to be the front runner at this point early in the season. And Judge strikes out swinging. Nice job, Wu. Wow. And you're not going to see, a guy strike out Aaron Judge that often. And nice job by Brian Wu. Let's go. That'll be something that he can tell his kids one day. Yeah, this guy Aaron Judge, I struck him out. Nice job, baby. Let's keep it going, Wu. Next up, left fielder Cody Bellinger. First pitch, low and at the knees with the sweeper, 83 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Yeah, but no one could have predicted, that Tatum would have a season-ending injury. And when injuries happen, anything can happen in sports. So, but it doesn't matter if the Knicks and the Pacers go at it; they're not going to win the championship. Like, you can make it, but like, what kind of ratings is that for the NBA? Do you think anybody, is going to want to watch the Thunder go against the Pacers? That's going to be, there'll be some people that will watch it, but that doesn't really shoot off the page. If it could have been, Celtics and Thunder, but I'm not the one coaching the Celtics telling them to shoot, 40 to 63s every game. I didn't think that they were going to do that. So, you can have ESP and you can predict, but also I can't predict a coach from being an idiot and having his team, play like that. And then on top of that, having the Tatum injury. But Boston was the only team that had a chance to probably win the championship from the Eastern Conference. I mean, the teams in the West are much better. So we'll see where it goes. But I mean, Knicks Pacers, if you are an NBA fan, that will be intriguing, but you would assume that the Knicks would win that series against Indiana, but we'll wait and see. Pitch is outside, 3 balls and 1 strike from Wu to Bellinger. Yeah, but nobody gives a shit about the NBA anyways. I mean, if you're watching the NBA, I mean, good luck. I could think about a billion things that I would rather do with my time than watch that. I mean, it is better in the playoffs and in the regular season. Pitch fouled off, 3 balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Bellinger. But I've never seen, a league that, really wants the lower end teams to suffer forever. Like, how do you expect your league to get better rating wise, where you keep, having collusion and you end up having these, conspiracies and whatnot, where you're just, taking care of your top end teams, instead of trying to make the bottom end teams better. At least with the NFL and the MLB and the NHL, bottom teams end up being in the middle or towards the top eventually. But in the NBA, if you're at the bottom, you're going to stay at the fucking bottom. 2 away. Next up is Paul Goldschmidt. 0 for 1. We're in the top of the 4th. 0-0 Yankees and Mariners. I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. It's just kind of sad that they had to wait for him to die so he wouldn't be able to actually go to the ceremony and whatnot. Goldschmidt lines out to the shortstop. JP, throw to first. Got him. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning. But, I mean, when you are the leader in hits and you're Charlie Hustle, obviously he bet on baseball on his team. When he was the manager, he lied about it for 15 years. But, again, let's be real. Shohei Ohtani fucking gambled and probably should be in jail, right? But then the interpreter took the hit for him. And obviously, if you're one of the faces of baseball like Aaron Judge, they can't afford to have a guy like that not playing and being in jail. So obviously they swept it under the rug. To actually think that Ohtani didn't know what was going on or he wasn't partaking in some of the bets as well is ridiculous, especially with addiction. A lot of people have addictions, obviously with drinking and with like drugs and everything, but gambling is just as bad of an addiction, than people that are doing drugs and that are drinking as well. And sometimes it even goes deeper. And it can obviously ruin friendship, ruin lives, and it can ruin your future, but I think with Pete Rose, I wish that he was still alive so that way that they could have inducted him a few years back instead of waiting for him to die and then now lifting the ban and whatnot. But, as far as like guys that do steroids and stuff like the Barry Bonds and the Roger Clemens and the Jose Canseco and the Mark McGuires and the Sammy Sosas and the Rafael Palmeiros, those guys don't deserve to get in ever, but with Pete Rose, I would put him in, All right, let's see who's up next here in the bottom of the 4th for Seattle. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 1, Julio Rodriguez. Batting second, 0 for 1, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And batting third, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Let's go, Julio. Yeah, Four Nations was awesome. I'll agree to that. I mean, obviously there's some political, tension between the United States and Canada. And if you know what I'm talking about, in play with the 1-0 pitch. And Julio singles to left. There we go. Nice job. But as far as like effort, passion, and I think that's really the difference with me, watching football, baseball, hockey. You actually have passion and pride, for the sport, for the team, and for the fans. But with the NBA, you don't have that. And there's a reason why that league is suffering and will continue to suffer. Because again, if the players don't care, the coaches don't care, the owners don't care, then the fans don't care. And again, and then the product that you're watching on TV and in person, it shows. It's a product of people not caring. It's just people trying to profit. But the one good thing, at least out of the Pacific Northwest, with Jody Allen and that group of, beneficiaries after Paul Allen passed away, they're putting the Blazers up for sale. So hopefully, we get Phil Knight to buy them, even though he tried a couple years ago and Jody turned it down at that point. But they're still going to own the Seahawks and the Sounders in Seattle, but they are going to sell the Blazers, and that's a good thing, so that we can actually get someone that knows what they're doing basketball-wise. Hopefully someone that has passion, for the Blazers, that doesn't want to move them like they moved the Sonics. And we can get someone that's local, that loves Oregon, loves, the Pacific Northwest, and, wants to be able to make the Blazers, at least a playoff team and a contender. So we'll see who ends up buying the Blazers. Phil Knight and a few others will be in consideration, but, there's not really a whole lot to be excited about NBA-wise. Like I said, I just, again, will I watch a few, games here and there? I follow the Blazers, so I watch what they do, and I follow all the other, teams and what they're doing. But it's a hard watch for me. Now, back in the 80s and 90s, believe it or not, the NBA was number one. NBA was king, and it was my favorite. But it's gone a long ways downhill, after Kobe retired, and I think the NBA really hasn't been that good for about 15 years. And right around that time with like the Spurs and with like Kobe, that's where it kind of died, and it hasn't really been the same since. Bottom of the fourth, runner at first, Freed on the mound, and Cal in play. Yes, baby, go, go, go. Hell yeah, Cal Raleigh double to center. Julio scores 1-0 Mariners. Woo, let's go. Nice job by Julio. Nice job by Cal. Back to back, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Next up is Randy Arozarena. 1-0 Mariners. Let's go. That's what we needed, baby. Nice job, Julio and Cal. Down goes Randy, one away. Next up, 1-for-1, Mitch Garver. Let's go, Mitch. First pitch, takes a strike, looking with a sweeper in the zone. 0-1 count. Yeah, but also too, Miles, if you look at what Ichiro did, Ichiro played professionally in Japan, for almost like 10 years before he actually came over to the MLB. So again, if you're coming into the MLB as a rookie at like 27, 28, and if you actually look at all the hits that he got over there and combine them with the hits that he got in America, obviously he would have, been number one at that point. And, just imagine if Ichiro would have came over, when he was like 17, 18 years old, and he was already playing professionally, at like 15, 16 years old for like the Oryx Blue Waves. So, I feel like, there's certain players that know how to hit, and, and there's not going to be too many, Pete Roses, Ichiros, Rod Carews, Tony Gwynn's. Those guys do not grow on trees, and, they come like once every generation and whatnot. And yeah, Pete Rose shouldn't have gambled. And a big part of him, being kind of blackballed is because he was the manager of the Reds and he was betting against or for and if he was betting against like, other teams, like if he was the Reds manager and he was, betting against like the Ranger games or other teams, it's one thing. But when you're betting for your team to win or lose, that's the main reason. And then lying about it for 15 years, and whatnot. But, addictions can be, deadly for sure. And more than one way for sure. Bottom of the fourth, runner at second with one out. Max Fried on the mound. Mitch Garver in the box. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Garv. Yeah, but for me, I like passion and I like effort, and I feel like you get passion and effort from baseball. You get it from the NHL, you get it from the NFL, you get it from college football. But like the one sport that you don't really get passion and effort is the NBA. And then they always wonder why that they're not getting good ratings and everything is going downhill. Sales tickets, the beer sales, everything, it's just not a good product. And it continues to be a bad product, year in and year out, and it never will recover. 2 away. Down goes Garv. Next up is Dylan Moore. I mean, really the thing that kept the NBA going, in the 80s and 90s is look at who was playing. You had some of the best players to ever play, on planet Earth in that time period. In the 80s and 90s with the Jordan and the Drexler and the Birds and the Magics and the Barkleys and the David Robinsons and the Patrick Ewings. They don't make players like that anymore. Now you do have, a few guys that are pretty good, but again, everyone is super soft. Everyone thinks that they can shoot threes. Nobody plays defense. There's nobody that actually shoots mid-range jumpers anymore. It's like, what kind of game are you paying to go watch? For a team to shoot 60 threes and make like 10, and nobody plays D, it's like, it almost feels like watching the Harlem Globetrotters and it's like an exhibition. It's lame, but again, that's their product. And if you love the NBA, good for you, but you'll never see me going out of my way and, supporting that particular brand. That's facts. The last time the NBA really was good, it's like when, you had the Iverson and you had the Shaq and you had the Kobe era. And then obviously, getting towards Kobe's end. And then with the Spurs, that was pretty much to me the last time the NBA was like watchable, in my opinion. Bottom of the fourth, runner at second with 2 outs. Max Fried on the mound. 3-0 count to Demo. Don't swing. 3-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking in the zone. 4-seam fastball. 3 balls and 1 strike. With a runner at second with 2 outs, 1-0 Mariners with a Julio Cal back-to-back to be able to get us to that 1-0 lead. Cal Raleigh with a double to center, and Julio scored to make it 1-0 Seattle. Let's go. Yeah, and it was kind of funny, too, because there was a lot of haters, thinking that when Ichiro got signed, in 2001, that he wouldn't be able to hit against American pitchers. Well, he definitely proved people wrong. And not only could he hit, right, and he could hit at a high level as Demo gets walked, but his defense, and his arm strength, for being a guy that normally when Japanese players come up, they would be pitchers, and that was it, like Hideo Nomo. We never saw a player that could actually play a position like outfield or any position other than pitcher, as a Japanese player, being full Japanese, not half or 25%. And, it was awesome to be able to see what he was able to bring to Seattle. And again, unfortunate that, Seattle wasn't able to, make it to a World Series when he was playing, or, obviously when we had Edgar and Randy Johnson and Griffey. But again, sometimes they got to lay down the groundwork, for future teams, to see what they can do. And, again, you're never going to see another Ichiro Suzuki ever again. That's facts. All right, next up is Donovan Solano. Again, well, he won't be able to hit into a double play, but again, we got runners at first and second when we had runners at second and third, and he wasn't able to, make that work. Hopefully, we'll get a walk here out of Solano. It's not working, but we got to do what we got to do to hang around. Plus, I think there's always something, to me personally, like some of my favorite players, it's not what they do on the field, it's what they do off the field. There's a reason why, like, I love Ken Griffey Jr. and, Edgar Martinez and Ichiro. And, it's because they did the right thing on the field and off the field, being a professional, being actually a good fucking human being. Instead of like some of these athletes that we see in basketball, baseball, football, and hockey, where they may be the freakish athlete, but they're trouble, off the field, or they're not a good person. And, I don't really root for people like that. Like I said, it's great, that they may have athleticism like George Pickens, but I'm not going out of my way to go buy a jersey of a guy like that. Like if that guy was on my team, hell no, I'm never going to buy a jersey of a guy that's selfish, that takes plays off, that's me. Now, he'll be better with Dak, but as soon as he doesn't get the ball and it goes to CD Lamb, who do you think is going to start pouting and start complaining, and ends up being a cancer for the team? It'll be him. Runners at first and second, 1-0 Mariners, bottom of the fourth. Freed on the mound, Donovan Solano in the box. Takes the strikes looking low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Freed to Solano. Come on, Solano, find a way. 1-2 pitch, fouled off. Too bad Luke Raley is injured. I mean, it would be better to have him at first, than Donovan Solano. Or if Leo Rivas was able to play first base, or someone that actually has a good batting average and a good baseball IQ. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. I don't know what we're at likes on the donos, but maybe Captain will update us in the chat. Bottom of the fourth, 2 outs. Runners at first and second. Max Fried on the mound. Donovan Solano in the box. Pitches inside at the head. Count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Don't fucking swing, Solano. If you just wouldn't have swung at your first at bat, maybe we could have gotten an RBI with bases loaded after you. Like, some guys are a liability when they swing, and Donovan Solano, it's like, you're our worst player on our team right now, right? You're batting 140, but at one point he was batting .40, .50. So it's better than what it was, but he's the only player on the team that has a below 200 batting average. Come on, Donovan, don't swing. Dan with Ukraine in the building. What's good? Oh, I love Seager. It just was a shame that Seager and King Felix didn't get to be a part of like a good team. I really feel bad. Like, those were some pretty low years for us Mariner fans, but at least we, had Kyle and we had King Felix, and we could really enjoy what they would bring, to the Mariners day in and day out. But, if there was ever 2 guys that I wish that could have felt what it was like to make the playoffs when we made it in 2022, with Cal Raleigh hitting that home run against the Athletics to get us into the playoffs. I really wish King Felix and Seager were on the roster at that time. They deserved it. And that is fouled off. Count still full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at first and second with 2 outs. 3-2 pitch. Fouled off again. Tried to jam him at the knees with that sweeper. Come on, Donovan. Yeah, Mariners were not very smart, back in the late 90s, though, when they let Randy walk. And then what did he do? He ended up getting like a bazillion Ks, ended up getting Cy Youngs, and then ended up, getting the Diamondbacks a championship. If the Mariners actually knew what they had, but they, maybe knew what they had, but they were too cheap. Should have paid the money to keep Randy. And if we would have kept Randy on the team, maybe we would have. Imagine if Randy Johnson was on the team in 2001. Maybe we would have went to the World Series that year. Pitch fouled off. We're in the 9th pitch here. Last 3 pitches have been fouled off, and he's definitely trying to jam him. Count still full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners at first and second. Cal Raleigh, obviously, with a double RBI to be able to get Julio to come home with a 1-0 lead, which is impressive, since Max Fried is 6-0 with an ERA of 1.05 coming into the game. Our toughest pitcher to date in 2025. 3-2 pitch, another pitch, cutter fouled off. 10th pitch in the at-bat here to Donovan Solano. Yeah, well, the 95 team wasn't good enough, but the 2001 team was good enough to make the World Series and win it. The 95 team was pretty good, though. I mean, we were good at 95, 97, and 2001, and then 2022. So those were like our 4 best teams that we've ever had. Fouled off again. Holy moly, right on the line. He's just jamming him. 11th pitch in this at-bat to Donovan Solano. Come on, Donovan. Yeah, the Yankees have kind of been the thorn, in our playoff run, right? We've had to match up with them a few times. And 11th pitch fouled off again. Holy moly. I mean, at least Solano is grinding this bat out, but he's literally fouled off the last 5 pitches. We're going to be on pitch 12. Holy cow. Yeah, we lost to, the Yankees have, been the thorn in our side. 95 series, 2001, and down goes Solano. I guess that was the pitch that broke the back. Man, rough. But at least we ended up getting Julio and Cal on board, and we ended up getting a run. But, again, if we could have just had someone better in that position, like if we could have had Leo Rivas there, what could have maybe possibly been. And Solano pops out into center field. Stranding 2 runners again, and just Donovan Solano alone, leaving 2 guys stranded at his first at-bat and grounding out into a double play. And I commend him for grinding out that at-bat, going 10-plus pitches, 12, 13 pitches, but it doesn't lead to anything. But at least, if we can be positive, now we go to the top of the 5th with a 1-0 lead. And I think any Mariner fan, based on what we saw yesterday, will take that. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Yankees in the top of the 5th. In the top of the 5th, 0 for 1 with a K, catcher Austin Wells. Batting second, 0 for 1 with a K, shortstop Anthony Volpe. And batting third, 0 for 1, DHing Jason Dominguez. Let's go Mariners. Yeah. Well, not only did the Expos have Randy Johnson when he first came up from USC, they also had Pedro Martinez. Can you imagine if the Expos never ended up, having to get moved to be the Washington Nationals, and if the Expos were still, around today? I actually wish they were. That's probably like the one franchise that I wish that we still had. I wish we had another team in Canada. And again, they had Oil Can Boyd, right? They had Marquise Grissom, Andres Galarraga, but the main 2 were Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez. And we know how great both of those 2 pitchers ended up being. But what could have been if they could have kept building the Montreal Expos? They could have had something special, that's for sure. Top of the 5th, 1-0 Mariners. That 12th pitch in play, flying out, was the end of the at-bat for the Mariners. So at least we got a 1-0 lead. All right, let's see where we're at. We're at 37 likes. We need 3 more to get to 40, 13 to hit the goal to hit 50. So if you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. 13 more to hit the goal. We're at 37. The goal is 50. And we got about 50 people in the room, so we should be able to get there. First pitch to Austin Wells, who ended up hitting a 3-run homer that pretty much ended the game for us when we ended up having a 2-2 lead. But when you end up having guys in the 5th and you have 2 guys on with no outs, if you don't pull a pitcher in that moment, then an RBI and an RBI will eventually happen, which did. And then that 3-run homer, was kind of the nail in the coffin. And to go from being tied 2-2 with Emerson Hancock on the mound, and then literally 3 minutes later it was 7-2, you knew the game was over. Pitch is outside from Woo to Wells. high and away with a four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike from Woo to Wells. But Woo has been lights out, and this kind of reminds me of the one hitter that he had on my birthday on May 2nd. But again, we'll see on how long it'll last. Wells grounds out to second, throw to first, 1 away. But you got to give both pitchers credit at this point. Woo, 4.1 innings pitched, 1 hit, so he still had a 1-hitter. No earned runs, no walks, 4 Ks, solid. And then Max Fried, 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 2 Ks. So not really the performance that I think Yankees fans thought they were going to get. And again, I'm glad, even though we only have a 1-0 lead, when you go against a guy that's 6-0 with an ERA of 1.05, which like the best in MLB, based off those metrics, I think that you'll take it. Now, of course, we would love to be able to get more, but to at least get 1 or 2 runs before Fried goes out, that could be the difference between us winning this game 3-2 or maybe losing the game 3-2. So far, so good. Next up is Anthony Volpe. But right now, 1 hitter for our boy, Brian Woo. And I'm loving, seeing that kind of production. And now they're looking at Solano colliding in with the runner there. Wells and Solano. Like, what is Solano doing there anyway? It's like, get out of his way. Let him get to first. We should have had Rowdy Tellez at first today. Then they could have body checked each other. Anytime someone tries to run into Rowdy, they'll just fall over. We've seen it earlier this year. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging. High and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Woo to Volpe. Top of the 5th, 1-0 Mariners. And if you're just tuning in the bottom of the 4th, Cal Raleigh doubled the center. Julio scored, 1-0 Seattle. 1-1 pitch, low and away with a sweeper. 2 balls and 1 strike from Woo to Volpe. Let's go, Woo. Keep it going, baby. 1 hitter so far. 4-1 record with an ERA of 3.25. So, yeah, he might not be 6-0 with an ERA of 1.05 like Fried, but that's our best pitcher in 2025, and I'm really happy that we didn't trade him away, and especially with the injuries with Logan Gilbert and George Kirby, he's been a godsend for us. Pitch fouled off with the sinker right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out with a 1-0 Seattle lead. I still think that we're going to probably have to get to 4 to 5 runs to win, but who knows? Maybe, we'll find a way of winning 3-2 or 3-1 today. But you never can have enough hits and runs on the Yankees. Volpe lines out to center. Julio's there. 2 away. Next up for the Yankees, DHing 0 for 1, Jason Dominguez. Let's go, Woo. Yes, he did. Good stat drop right there. First pitch fouled off, 4-seam fastball, 0-1 count from Brian Woo, bringing that electricity and that energy, baby. And Jason Dominguez in the box. Oh, 1 pitch, low and away with the sweeper. 1 ball and 1 strike from Woo to Dominguez. Top of the 5th, 1-0 Mariners. Come on, baby. Keep it going, Woo. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes and 2 outs with nobody on here in the top of the 5th. With the Mariners hanging on to a 1-0 lead. But again, when you go against an elite pitcher, you don't really expect anything, but you hope that you can rough him up to get him to exit in the 5th. But if you can't do that, at least try to get a couple runs on an elite pitcher. Easier said than done, but at least we got 1. Changeup fouled off in the zone. Count remains still 1 ball and 2 strikes with Woo on the mound, Dominguez in the box. Let's go, Woo. Punch him out. Pitches low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes off that slider to Jason Dominguez. Come on, baby. And you knew this was going to be a pitcher's duel. And there we go. Brian Wu is wooing, baby. Let's go, baby. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 5th and see who's up next here for the Mariners. Next up, right fielder 0 for 1 with a K, Leody Taveras. Let's go, Leody. Maybe started off with dropping down a bunt and getting on base. That's what I would do. Batting second, 0 for 1, third baseman Ben Williamson. And I feel that if we do get on with a bunt by Leody, we can get a base hit out of Ben. And then batting third, J.P. Crawford. And again, if he drops the bunt down and gets on safe, I think you'll be able to get a hit here and a hit here. And then we might be able to get another run this particular inning, but we'll find out. All 3 guys are, Taveras and Williamson are 0 for 1. JP's 0 for 2. So something's got to give. But again, if you can drop the bunt down perfectly and get on base, I think that'll lead to something good here and something good here. Yeah, we're finding ways. All right, we're 1 like away from 40, 11 away from our goal from 50. So if you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do your boy a solid. We're at 39, 1 more for 40, 11 more to hit the goal for the night. I think we can do it. And we're at 48 on the don't knows, 52 to hit that goal before the stream ends. Let's go, baby. All right, first pitch from Max Fried to Leody Taveras. High and away with a 4-seam fastball. 1-0 count. Let's go, Leody. Drop down the bunt, baby. Pitches low and at the knees. 2-0 count from Fried to Taveras. And let's look at the pitch count from both. Wu is at 63 pitches. Fried's only at 74. So technically, we'll see how long Fried goes, at this particular inning, but this may be his last inning. After, wait, in the 5th? No, he'll go 6. Let me see where his pitch count is. Where are you at? So Wu's at 63 and he's at 75. Yeah, so he should go easy 6. Don't think he'll go 7, but who knows? Pitches inside, into hips. 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour. 3 balls and 1 strike from Fried to Taveras. Come on, Leody. 3-1 pitch, fouled off with a 4-seam fastball. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Leody Taveras with Max Fried on the mound. Come on, Leody. There we go. And again, just as good as a bunt and getting on first, we'll take a walk. And there we go. This might be the beginning of the end of Max Fried. Here we go. Here we go. Leody gets on with a walk. And again, good patience in the box. Next up, Ben Williamson. Let's go, Ben. And Ben can get a single, and we can have guys at first and second. And then maybe we get a little bit of magic at the top of the order with JP, Julio, and Cal Raleigh. Let's go. This could be a good inning for us to get to 2-0 or 3-0. Come on, Big Ben. First pitch fouled off with the sinker from Fried to Williamson, 0-1 count. Let's go Big Ben, baby. 0-1 pitch, high and away with a four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour by Fried. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ben Williamson. Bottom of the 5th with a runner at first, Leody Taveras. 1-0 Mariner lead with a Cal Raleigh double that brought in Julio. It's been a pitcher's duel for sure. And again, almost like the complete opposite of what we saw yesterday, where it was like a lot of home runs and a lot of hits, and then we had that horrible injury by Oswaldo Cabrera, breaking his ankle. And then not only that, having the, ambulance have to come out and take him out in a stretcher. I hate seeing that, but I knew that this would be more of a competitive matchup, especially with Wu on the mound. And we just got to be able to hope those bats can come alive, especially after Fried goes out. Takes a strike swinging with that sweeper. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Fried to Williamson. Let's go Big Ben. 1-2 pitch. Curve fouled off. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Let's go Ben. Bottom of the 5th, no outs. Runner at first, Leody Taveras. Seattle with a 1-0 lead. And again, if we have any chance of winning this series, obviously after losing yesterday, we have to find a way to win this. And Williamson strikes out swinging. Fuck. Damn it. 1 away. Still love you, Big Ben. All right, next up, J.P. Crawford, 0 for 2 with a K. Come on, J.P. Let's go, Crawdaddy. Find a way. First pitch from Fried to JP. Takes a strike looking on the corner. High and away, 0-1 count. Bottom of the 5th, runner at first with 1 out. 0-1 pitch. Four-seam fastball, 5 feet off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike to JP Crawford. 270 average, 3 homers, 17 ribbies, OPS of 744. Was getting hit and walked quite a bit early on, but started to get on a nice little hitting streak. And anytime you can get a hitting streak in 10 consecutive games, 15 consecutive games, and then you can get close to 20, things are going good for JP Crawford and the leadoff role. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking low and inside, tries to jam the hitter. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Fried to JP. Come on, JP. We got to try to find any way to try to get to 3 runs before Fried goes out. At least 1 more if we can, because we just don't really know what our bullpen is going to do, because again, if the bullpen comes in and totally stinks it up, even if we have like a 3-0 lead, that could evaporate within literally 1 inning. So, and big swing and a miss. Down goes JP Crawford, gets baited on a pitch low and away. Nice one there by Fried. And we'll give him some love. I'm not a hater here. Nice electricity there, punching out our boy, J.P. Crawford. I see you, Max. Next up for the Mariners, 1 for 2 with a run, Julio Rodriguez. And Julio's a guy that was facing a lot of pitches and was not very good in March and April, but he's been very good in May, and I think it will continue into June, July, and August. Let's go, J-Rod. Let's go, Julio. Trident's up. Nice to be able to see him not strike out nearly as much. And again, they had a crazy stat prior to this year. He only went 3 games before striking out, and he's actually gone to a point where he got it all the way up to 7 games before striking out once in a game. So again, Julio is definitely getting more contact, on the ball. And again, hitting a lot more line drives. Yeah, he'll get some pop outs, but again, I think that most Mariner fans wouldn't really mind ground outs and pop outs rather than strikeouts. Strikeouts get frustrating. And again, it's nice to not be the number one strikeout team in MLB anymore. Now, he still is overly aggressive in the box in the first 2 pitches. But with that being said, in May, he's been able to go overly aggressive and actually make those into home runs and singles and doubles instead of just, having a, little grounder to third and then, in the first pitch and then your at-bat is wasted. First 2 pitches fouled off by Julio. Behind in the count now 0-2. Come on, J-Rod. Bottom of the 5th, runner at first, Leody Taveras with 2 outs. Max Fried on the mound, Julio Rodriguez at the box, behind in the count 0-2. Come on, Julio. I mean, this would be a great time for a homer. I'm not saying that he'll get one, but if he were able to get a homer on Fried, man, that would really give us the confidence that we could win this game. And obviously, extending our lead to 3-0 would be great. But hell, at this point, I would even just take a single. 232 average, 7 homers, 18 ribbies, OPS of 727. But you should see that batting average climb to 280 to 300 at some point when we get into summer. Slowly but surely. Pitches outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. And Julio strikes out swinging. Oh, Julio. You don't strike out that often, but I guess, it was meant to happen. End of the 5th inning, 1-0 Mariners. Let's take a look at the stat line of the pitchers here. All right, Max Fried, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 Ks, 91 pitches in. So I'm not sure if they'll have him come out again if he's already at 91. If he were to complete the inning, then he'd probably be at like 105 or 110 more than likely, unless he was able to get a couple outs on like the first 2 pitches. Then he might be able to get it under 100. But we will see if we get Max Fried to come out. But at this point, his ERA has only climbed from 1.05 to 1.11. And then Brian Wu, 5 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, no walks, 5 Ks. So if you're actually comparing stats, Wu has outpitched Max Fried. Pretty wild. And we'll see what Wu can obviously do moving forward. Wu with a 1-hitter, baby. Let's go. Next up for the Yankees in the top of the 6th, third baseman Oswald Peraza. Batting second, 0 for 1, second baseman Yorby Vivas. And batting third, 0 for 2, center fielder Trent Grisham. Let's go Mariners. I see you, Wu. Keep bringing that energy, baby. Detroit beating Boston 10-9, and that's one of the best teams in baseball. Peraza flies out to center on the first pitch. 1 away. Nice job, Wu. Down goes Peraza. Next up, Yorby Vivas. It's cool to be able to see what the Mariners and the Tigers and the Cubs, are doing, because I don't think anyone, thought that they were going to be this good. Now, everyone knew the Yankees were going to be good. Everyone knew the Dodgers and Padres were going to be good, but I feel like, the Cubs, the Giants, the Mariners, and the Tigers. Those were ones that people thought they could be good, but didn't really know if they would be good. And it's pretty cool to see, lower end teams finally climb, the standings in their respective divisions. Because again, you don't want to see the same teams over and over and over again. And even though the Giants aren't in the top, you got obviously the Dodgers and Padres ahead of them. But definitely the NL West is the best division in baseball, because obviously you got the Giants and you look at what their record is. You see what the Padres are doing, what the Dodgers are doing, and then hell, even the Diamondbacks are over 500. They got the shittiest team in baseball in the Rockies in their division, but that is a scary, scary division there, the NL West. Top of the sixth with one out, Wu on the mound to Vivas. Pitch fouled off, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. High and away from Wu. 1 ball and 1 strike from Wu to Vivas. 1-1 pitch. Takes a strike swinging. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wu to Vivas. 1-2 pitch. Pitch is outside. High and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Yorbi Vivas. Let's go, Wu. Punch him out, baby. Let's go, Brian. 1 hitter so far. 2-2 pitch, fouled off. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Vivas. Top of the sixth, nobody on. With 1 out, 1-0 Seattle lead. 2-2 pitch, 4-seam fastball, fouled off again. Count remains 2-2. 2-2 pitch, high and inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Count now is full from Wu to Vivas. Don't walk him. Pitch it down the middle, and you could probably get him to have a ground ball out. And obviously, Vivas is, they had to kind of rotate the order and whatnot. Because obviously, after Oswaldo Cabrera, fractured his ankle, then they ended up moving him, that position, obviously, with Peraza playing second, then him moving to third. And then obviously Vivas now playing second for the Yankees. And that's one thing about Peraza. Peraza can play both. And hell, if they had to have him at short, he could probably do that too. 4-seam fastball fouled off, high and away, count still full. 3 balls, 2 strikes from Wu to Vivas. Get Yorbi out, baby. Let's go. And Vivas strikes out swinging. There we go, baby. I love Brian Wu. Let's go. Hell yeah, my guy. Way to bring that intensity, Brian fucking Wu. Yes, sir. Next up, center fielder Trent Grisham. Wu's K count now is up to 6. Fried's at 5. Difference is Wu's only 73 pitches in and Fried's at 91. And Brian Wu could probably go all the way to like the 8th inning. I mean, our bullpen has been so shitty, that maybe we will just have Wu keep going. Why not? As long as he's on right now, there's no point of having him not, pitch in the 7th. And then if he does good there, have him in the 8th. And then if we still have the lead, then we can just go Wu and Munoz. We might not need anybody else. Or maybe go Wu, Gabe Spire, Munoz, or something like that if he goes, up to the 7th, and then they have an 8th inning pitcher. And Grisham reached on an infield single to second. Damn it. Goes from a 1-hitter to a 2-hitter. Taveras, you got to make that catch. Next up is Aaron Judge, 0 for 2 with a K. Come on, Wu. Taveras should have made this. Out of position. And off the glove. Come on, man. Come on, Taveras. And Taveras has actually been pretty good, as far as a hitter and a defender. But, again, fucked up there. Should have kept Wu at a 1-hitter, especially when it was in your mitt. And I know those are tough plays to make when you're sliding on the ground and whatnot, but that's a play that we've seen Leote make in the past, not only for the Mariners, but for the Rangers. First pitch to Aaron Judge, takes a strike looking with a sweeper, 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch, fouled off. Behind the count, 0-2 from Wu to Judge. Yeah, but again, the Nuggets, are the second best team, and the team that, again, it should be one of those 2 teams that more than likely that'll win it all. Obviously after them, the T-Wolves are intriguing. I don't think the Knicks or the Pacers obviously are good enough. on that end. So it really, whoever wins at the West is going to win the whole thing. Pitches outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. But again, hopefully you guys will end up going on a run at some point. But again, it's a tough matchup. We should have got Nuggets, OKC Thunder for the West Finals. That's what we should have had based on the bracket. But unfortunately, sometimes you have to, have that matchup before we get to the West or the East Final. In play. And Judge singles to right. Grisham to second. Runners now at first and second with 2 outs. Next up is Cody Bellinger. Come on, Woo. And again, that out that we should have had by Leody Taveras, now Uncle Mo and momentum is starting to shift over to the Yankees. We have to get this out here. 1 for 2 with a K, left fielder Cody Bellinger. Come on, Taveras, fucking out of position again. A nice little scoop there, but playing too deep. Bring back Victor Robles, damn it. First pitch from Woo to Bellinger, 10 feet off the plate, high and away, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, 4-seam fastball, high and away, 2-0 count from Woo to Bellinger. Come on, Woo. And obviously Woo's getting a little tired right now, you can tell. But whatever way we got to get it, a punch out, a pop up, a ground out. And based on, some of these last few pitches against these last 2-3 batters, he's having a hard time finding the strike zone. So you just got to hope that the batter bites and then we can end up, getting him, an easy pop out or ground out or forced out, which I think we will get. And we got him. There we go. All right. So even though the Yankees started to threaten, Brian Woo, hanging tough, baby. And let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning with still a 1-0 Mariner lead. Thank God. And again, that's exactly what you needed. You needed him to pop up or ground out, and that's what we got. Nice job by Woo to finally get a good pitch right down the pipe to get them to bait on it. And luckily, we ended up getting a nice pop out there. 1 run, 4 hits for the Mariners, 0 runs, 3 hits from the Yankees. But again, we're in really good position here to be able to not only compete, but possibly win this game and get revenge from yesterday. But again, we're not really built to win 1-0, 2-1, 3-2. So hopefully we can get a little bit more insurance. We're going to need it, especially after Woo goes out, because after looking kind of shaky there, I don't know if you're going to bring back Woo, because he's at 82 pitches and he's at 6 Ks. But I mean, that'll be a call by Dan Wilson. They may have him go 1 more inning, but we'll find out. And now Cruz is coming in for Max Fried, so maybe we'll start the rake now. So Max Fried, your day is done. And then let's look at your stat line. And hopefully we can start raking now in the 6th, 7th, and 8th, and 9th. And we can find a way to win. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 base on balls, 2 walks, 5 Ks, 91 pitches, 57 strikes, ERA of 1.11. Decent, but we go over to Brian Woo. And Brian Woo, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 6 Ks. 82 pitches. So Woo definitely outpitched Max Fried. But again, we see if we can get more here with the bullpen of the Yankees. Next up, 1 for 2 with an RBI. Big dumper catcher Cal Raleigh. Batting second, left fielder Randy Arozarena. And batting third, DHing for the Mariners, Mitch Garver. Let's go Mariners. Fernando Cruz coming in relief. Let's go, Cal. Trident's up, baby. First pitch from Cruz to Cal Raleigh, low and away, 1-0 count. And obviously now, with Max Fried in the lineup, we should be able to get a few walks. Maybe even a guy gets hit, as long as he doesn't get hurt. Maybe we'll be able to bunt, and maybe we'll be able to actually move a guy over and steal a bag. And again, all the things that we used to do when we were on our 9 consecutive series win streak, we haven't really been doing against the Blue Jays or the Yankees. So we have to kind of get back to what we were doing that was helping us win. First pitch, obviously low and into the knees, 1-0 count, and back-to-back, take strikes looking, one on the line and one right down the pipe from Cruz to Big Dumper, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Cal Raleigh. Cruz on the mound, Big Dumper in the box. But it kind of feels like we're going to win today. Based on what happened yesterday and Wu out pitching Fried. And I know it's only 1-0, and we know how shitty our bullpen is sometimes. But again, if their bullpen is shaky too, and it kind of goes back and forth, I think that we might be able to scrape this win out. And again, if we win today, we're going to have a good chance of winning tomorrow with Luis Castillo. Pitches low and at the knees. Count now is full from Cruz to Big Dumper. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on with no outs with a 1-0 Mariner lead. And if you're just tuning in the bottom of the 4th, Cal Raleigh doubled the center. Julio scored to give us the 1-0 lead. 4 hits for the Mariners, only 3 for the Yankees. So it's been definitely a pitching duel, but it should open up. And again, if the bullpens suck, this could end up being a 5-4 final, depending on what we get on the mound from the Yankees and the Mariners in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. We'll find out. Pitch fouled off with that splitter from Cruz. Count still full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. And Big Dumper strikes out swinging. 1 away. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2, left fielder Randy Arozarena. I imagine, Robles is rehabbing, just like how, Logan and George Kirby are rehabbing. And Logan ended up having, quite a few pitches, warming up and trying to see how that arm feels. And they're working him out slowly but surely. Kirby's in AAA for the Tacoma Rainiers. So, we're going to get both of them back. And again, once we get both back, maybe we put Bryce on the IL, and then we decide who we want between Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock. And, maybe we go Logan Evans, and then we can send, maybe Hancock back down to AAA, Bryce Miller to the IL, and then we can have Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Brian Wu, Luis Castillo, and then Logan Evans is our 5. Until Bryce Miller actually gets his back and fixed, and maybe his mental's fixed, and to get him back on track, because obviously that would normally be a guy that would be in our starting 5, but I don't really trust him very much. But again, I don't really trust Logan Evans or Emerson Hancock either. Pitch is low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. Cruz, 1-1 pitch, tries to jam the hitter. Low and at the knees, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. 1-2 pitch and struck him out. Come on, Randy. Randy is so streaky. Down goes Randy Arozarena. Next up, DHing Mitch Garver. We should put Dylan Moore out in left field and let Leo Ribas play second. That would actually be better for us. I know Randy Arozarena is a name, but if you put Demo in left, and Julio in center, and then, obviously having Leody Taveras in right, that might actually be better for us. Just got to find a way to put in the best hitters and the best players at the moment. First pitch takes a strike looking with a sinker to Mitch Garver, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch from Cruz to Garver, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mitch Garver. Come on, Mitch. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. Come on, Garv. 9 likes to 50. Let's get there, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. That's the goal for the stream. Let's get to 50 before the stream ends. So we only need 9 more. So if you haven't done it yet, please do. It'll help out with the algorithm tremendously. Pitches low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and nobody on, with the Mariners hanging on to a 1-0 lead. And we're at 48 on the dono train, 52 to go. 2-2 pitch at the knees, inside with the splitter, 81 miles an hour. Count is full now. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Mitch Garver. Come on, Mitch. It's crazy. Like, even though Mitch sucked last year, like, I got more confidence with him in the box than some of the guys in the starting lineup that normally play every day. Like, you know, I feel like more confident that Mitch can get on more times than not. And I know there's going to be times like right there he doesn't, you know, get the hit that we need. You know, but again, you know, Mitch is streaky, Randy is streaky, Julio was, but now he's hot and he's back on board. But we've had a few guys kind of cool off, you know, as well. Like, you know, Jorge Polanco kind of had that, you know, time period where he had a few games where he cooled off, and finally he homered yesterday. We need Polo to pinch hit late in this game. You know, again, you know, Donovan Solano, we already know. You know, you already left 2 stranded with a double play, and then you left 2 stranded again, even though you went like 12, 13 pitches. The next time, you know, where Solano is going to be up, that should be a substitution and a pinch hit for Jorge Polanco, because, you know, Jorge can actually help us win this game. That's facts. All right, let's go to the top of the 7th and see who's up next for the Yankees. Next up for the Yankees, 0 for 2, first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a K, catcher Austin Wells. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, shortstop Anthony Volpe. Let's go Mariners. And since Wu is only at 82 pitches in and our bullpen sucks, I think he's going to come back out. And they'll have him pitch 1 more inning. And then maybe after that, we'll go with Gabe Spire and then Munoz if we still have the lead. Now, Wu's still out there. Good decision. Even though he looked a little shaky, but still, he's been magnificent today. Wu on the mound, Paul Goldschmidt in the box. Top of the 7th, 1-0 Mariner lead. I mean, hell, even if it ends up being a 1-0 final, you're not going to hear me bitch or complain after getting our ass kicked yesterday. And, you know, and then also getting swept by the fucking Blue Jays. You know, nothing is worse than losing 3 in a row to the Blue Jays at home and then getting absolutely fucking destroyed 11-5 yesterday. And is it me? I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like we haven't stolen a bag or bunted in like a long fucking time. You know, again, those are things that we need to do to win. First pitch to Goldschmidt, high and away, 1-0 count. But it's like I feel like we haven't got hit by a pitch in a long time. We haven't stolen a bag forever, it feels like. You know, and when's the last time that we bunted? I mean, obviously we know Tavares did a few games back, but man, it's like we should be bunting at least a couple times a game, not once every like 5 to 10 games. And Goldschmidt pops out to Julio, 1 away. Next up, catcher Austin Wells. First pitch from Wu to Wells. Takes a strike looking high and away in the zone, 83 miles an hour with that beautiful sweeper by Brian Wu. 0-1 count. Top of the 7th, 1-0 Mariners, baby. Oh-1 pitch. Change up, fouled off. Behind in the count now, 0-2. I don't think Volpe is the most unlikable Yankee. I actually like Volpe. You know, like if I'm looking at their lineup, you know, I don't have a problem with Volpe. You know, he kind of reminds me of like, you know, a Jeremy Pena for the Astros, you know, where I don't like Altuve, and I think Yordan Alvarez is a good player. Obviously, the guys that were the thorn in the side were normally like, Bregman and whatnot, and I'm not really a Bregman guy either, but, I really like, Kyle Tucker, who no longer obviously is on the Astros and kicking ass for the Cubs. And, it sounds like the Dodgers and the Yankees and a few other teams are going to try to get him if the Cubs don't give him a long-term deal. And I always like Tucker and Pena. Those were always like my two favorite there, but I don't got a problem with Volpe, and I don't think he is the most unlikable. I'm not really sure if there's an unlikable player. Maybe Soto when he was on the team last year, but in play. And that's a double by Wells. Next up, shortstop Anthony Volpe. But I don't know, Grisham wasn't that good of a player for the Padres, so there's not really an opinion there. Judge is Judge. Bellinger and Goldschmidt have always been kind of likable. They haven't really been, rubbing people the wrong way, so to speak. Wells, Volpe, Dominguez. I mean, I'm not really sure if the Yankees have that type of player that's hated. If you look at the lineup, I don't see anybody that is universally hated, on that roster, unless it's just jealousy and you're hating on Judge because he's the fucking best player in MLB in 2025, not named Shohei Ohtani, And now it's the top of the 7th with one out with a runner at second, and his Woo's day is done. Woo's pissed. He wanted to keep going. And if he wouldn't have given up that double, I think that he probably would have. But our bullpen isn't very good, but we are bringing in Gabe Spire, so I like that. And I know Woo was pissed as he yelled into his mitt right there. But, again, if he ends up giving up another hit, then it could be 1-1. And then, you don't want to do it too late. And I think Dan Wilson realized, yesterday, when I said when the game was 2-2 with Emerson Hancock, but if you're in the 5th inning and you got runners at second and third or first and second with no outs, and you don't pull the pitcher then, there's going to be an RBI and then another RBI, and then all of a sudden it's 3-2 and 4-2, exactly what I predicted that would happen. And then they end up getting one out, after having no outs, and you're already down 2. And then if you continue to keep that guy in, you're going to get a guy that normally doesn't really hit homers like Austin Wells. And what happened? He hit a 3-run homer, and I predicted that would happen. And then all of a sudden, when the game was 2-2, you look up at the scoreboard 2 minutes later, and it's 7-2, and the game was over. So, at least he, is trying to be able to figure out when, would be the good time. I wish he would have learned that yesterday, but I don't mind with Gabe coming in. And hopefully he'll be able to get it done for us here. And Gabe was lights out at the beginning of the year, but lately, within the last 3, 4, 5 opportunities, he hasn't really been that great. I love Gabe, but we have to call a spade, right? He was lights out, in his first 5, 6, 7 opportunities at the beginning of the year, but the last 3, 4, 5, he's either given up hits, RBIs, or home runs. And it's not as bad, as a Trent Thornton, where you're giving up 4, 5, 6 homers in relief. Obviously, he's on the injured list, so we don't have to worry about Thornton. But again, guys after, the Troy Taylors and the Bizzardos and the Colin Snyders, where you don't really have a trust there. It's I trust Brash, I trust Gabe Spire, I trust Munoz. But if it's someone else, we'll see. All right, Volpe in the box. First pitch to Volpe, high and away. Four-seam fastball, 1-0 count from Gabe Spire. Let's go, Gabe. The Pat McAfee look-alike. Let's go. And rough start here. Pitches low and at the knees. 3-0 count from Gabe to Volpe. And again, this is the same type of shit that we've seen in the last 3, 4, 5 starts out of Gabe Spire. I mean, he was very, very lights out like Munoz at the beginning of the year. But again, the last few times that he's got in, hasn't been able to hit his location, has been giving up a couple base hits. It's pretty common, that he'll give up an RBI or a home run. And, hopefully we can find a way to get out of this inning. Otherwise, maybe we should have kept Woo in there, but we'll find out. Pitch right down the pipe. 3 balls and 1 strike from Spire to Volpe. 3-1 pitch, fouled off, tried to jam the hitter high and inside. Count now is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out and runner at second. Spire on the mound, Volpe in the box. Come on, Gabe. Yeah, I mean, obviously with our bullpen being so shaky, 1 is not enough. But again, if we do win 1-0, we'll take it. But again, it's like you need to get 3, 4, 5 runs. Because again, in any given inning, the Yankees could get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 runs, especially if it ends up being one of our shitty guys in the pen. And most of the guys in the pen are shitty. They're not good. Like, Brash is coming off Tommy John, so they're being very careful with his usage. Gabe might be the most trustworthy guy, and even he's been getting roughed up in the last 4 or 5 opportunities. Munoz is great, but we can only get to him at the 9th, so. Pitch is fouled off, tried to jam the hitter again. 3 balls, 2 strikes, count now is full with a runner at second with 1 out. Come on, Gabe. And Volpe has walked. Runners at first and second now with 1 out. Next up is Jason Dominguez. Come on, Gabe, focus. Get back to being that pitcher that you were, in March and April. I don't know what the hell happened in May, but. And obviously Dominguez is a guy that we can get out, but if he, can't find the zone, you don't want to give up a 3-run homer, because if he hits a homer, well, we're going to lose, more than likely, unless we can find a rally in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, which is possible. But again, it's like we have to hope that the Yankees bullpen is as bad as ours and that we can match that. But I'm starting to not really trust Gabe the same type of way that I did at the beginning of the year. It's like, he might be the most trustworthy one besides, Brash when he had limited, opportunities, but Snyder, Pizzardo, all the others that we bring in, Vargas, I don't trust him, like Gumina, First pitch, takes a strike swinging with a 4-seam fastball, 0-1 count from Spire to Dominguez. I think we're going to be able to find a way to get out of this inning. Oh, 1 pitch, high and away with a 4-seam fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike from Spire to Dominguez. And Volpe stole second, Wells stole third. Holy hell. Now it's second and third with no outs. That's not good. Fucking A. I mean, now it looks like they're going to score at least 1, but it could be 2, 3, 4 here if we're not careful. Fuck. Pitch is high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike from Spire to Dominguez. It shows you how important having a good bullpen is. Instead of spending money on guys like Donovan Solano, should have used that for more, pitching help. We have plenty of guys in the farm that could play positions in the infield or the outfield, but we definitely don't have enough good pitchers. That's for damn sure. Pitch fouled off, high and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes with runners at second and third with 1 out. Come on, Gabe. You got to fucking strike him out. And got him. There we go, Gabe. Motherfucker. That's what I'm talking about. Gabe Spire channeling in a little Brian Wu 2 away. Yes, sir. Nice job, Gabe. Next up, third baseman 0 for 2, Oswald Peraza, and we can get him out. Not saying that he can't come up with a big play. He can, but I feel that we can get him out here, and we should hopefully be able to come out of this unscathed. Do it for Wu, baby. Let's go. We already lost yesterday. First pitch takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. I think Gabe will be locked in at this here, and we should be able to still have a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Yeah, see, here we go. Slider, strike looking, 0-2 count. 1 more, and we can punch him out. I mean, things can look scary, but it's like the vibes that you feel. And again, Gabe hasn't been very good the last 3, 4, 5 outings, but it hasn't been as bad as others. And again, now he's starting to find a little groove here. And then Cal are on the same page. Top of the 7th, runners at second and third with 2 outs. 1-0 Mariner lead. And we're ahead of the count 0-2 with Gabe on the mound. Yes, sir! Your boy called it. Steph didn't have confidence, but your boy did. And like I said, we get out of the inning unscathed. Let's go. It's all good, Steph. I'll end up rooting for, the latter, Again, things look shaky, but you have to realize, just because the rest of the bullpen sucks doesn't mean that one of our best can't shine. And again, he shines, Gabe gets out of the inning, and that probably saved us a chance from letting this game get away from us. Because if they would have scored 1, 2, 3 runs in that inning, we more than likely lose 90%, right? So to get out of that inning now, again, we have to win. This is a must-win game for us. Yankees are playing with house money. They already won yesterday, right? We got Luis Castillo on the mound tomorrow, so this is a must-win game for us. And Gabe saved the game for us right there. Nice job. Had a feeling that he would get us out of that inning, and he did. And again, I'm not going to be correct, 100% of the time. But usually the sports gods and the vibes that I feel, if I express them on the channel, more times than not, we're going to be correct. Next up, 1-for-1 with a base on ball, second baseman Dylan Moore. Batting second, hopefully this will be Jorge Polanco pinch hitting for Donovan Solano. And then batting third, right fielder Leody Taveras. But hopefully we get Polo to pinch hit for Solano. He's already 0 for 2. There's no point of having him hit again. Especially when Donovan Solano has left 4 guys on base in his 2 at-bats. So we've already seen enough of Solano. Yeah, but it wouldn't be that crazy to think that we win 1-0. Mariners don't win 1-0 often, but again, depending on who we have come in the 8th, who we have there, and if they can end up getting, us out of that inning, and then we have Munoz in the 9th, and Munoz is Munoz, we could win this 1-0. Now, would I like us to get to 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah, of course I would. But really the main thing is keeping the Yankees at 0, the best that we can, so. But again, if we find a way to win 1-0, no Mariner fan's going to complain. A win is a win, even if it's only 1-0. Let's go, Demo. 4 hits apiece. But it's up to Julio and Cal to get the party started. And let's see if we can get something here and get a little bit more insurance. Leiter Jr. on the mound. Demo in the box. First pitch, takes a strike looking. Should have been called ball, called strike. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off. With that sinker, 93 miles an hour, now behind the count 0-2, where the count should be 1-1. And definitely the Yankees have been getting all the calls. Again, it has not been 50-50 right down the middle. It's definitely been 70-30, and the Yankees are getting more pitches out of the zone called strike than we are, 100%. Demo, 292 average, 7 homers, 13 ribbies, OPS of 894. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, low and away with the slider. Count remains 0-2 here in the bottom of the 7th with a 1-0 lead for Seattle. Oh, 0-2 pitch, splitter, low and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dylan Moore. I feel with Solano still being on the roster, it's kind of like political, and it's based off his salary and how much that we paid him as being the first free agent that we signed. And again, a lot of times if it's based on the money, and instead of just being like, oh, we paid all this money and then all of a sudden we're going to send you to AAA, I feel it's kind of like an ego thing from the ownership and the GM and the management. It's like, the smart thing would be to set them down, and then bring up Tyler Locklear, who I think that, is like a baby Ty France. He'll give you exactly what you're getting from Solano, but more. Better defense and better offense, but I don't know why they haven't pulled the trigger on sending him down. But if I had to take a guess, it's his salary. And based on him being the free agent that we signed, that's the reason why we haven't sent him down yet. But, it would have been smarter to send him down and bring up Locklear as Demo strikes out swinging, 1 away. But Locklear gives us a better chance, as a backup, at that spot. Or, instead of having Solano play, have fucking Rowdy Tellez at first. And here's Jorge Polanco. So they listen. I said, get Polo in there. There he is. We've already seen enough out of Donovan Solano. He ain't going to give you shit, but here's Jorge Polanco. And Polo, with one swing, can make this game 2-0. Let's go, Polo. First pitch fouled off, out of the zone with the sinker, 0-1 count. Let's go, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. How many more likes are we to 50, Captain? We got to be getting close. Leiter Jr. on the mound. Jorge Polanco pinch hitting for Donovan Solano. And at this point, having Polo hit here, we might be able to get Polo to hit in the 9th as well. Got to give Polo 2 chances, not just 1. But even when he only gets 1, he can still find a way to make it happen. 0-1 pitch fouled off again, outside of the zone. Behind in the count now, 0-2 to Jorge Polanco. Pitch is low and at the knees with that curveball, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. You the man. Bring that electricity, baby. Bottom of the 7th, 1-0 Mariners. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Leiter Jr. on the mound for New York. Jorge Polanco in the box for Seattle. Let's go, Polo. Well, Jay, you want him to win because you want to win your parlay. So for that simple fact, the Mariners are going to win today. And Polo strikes out swinging, 2 away. All right, let's see who's up next. Leody Taveras. 0 for 1 with a base on ball and a K. Right fielder, Leody Taveras. Let's go, Leody. First pitch right down the pipe with the curveball, 0-1 count. Pitch is low and away. Takes a strike swinging. Big swing and a miss by Leody. Behind in the count now, 0-2. Bottom of the 7th, 1-0 Seattle. Leiter Jr. on the mound. Leody Taveras in the box. I mean, if someone is a real fan of a team, that's fine. But when it's only for parlays only, no. Pitch is low and away with the splitter. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Leody Taveras. Come on, Leody. And down goes Taveras in play, popped out to third. And that is the end of the 7th inning. Let's go to the top of the 8th with the Mariner 1-0 lead. And honestly, it kind of feels like the Mariners could win this 1-0. And I normally don't say that, but just based on this pitcher's duel, we'll have to kind of wait and see what we get here in the 8th inning. But if we still have a score of 1-0 going into the 9th and then Munoz comes in, we're going to win 1-0. So really, this is the last opportunity. Even though the Yankees will have the 8th and the 9th, but again, if we get unscathed, we could find a way. And again, I would love to get more than just, 1 run in a game. But, again, with what we had with Brian Wu on the mound, as well as amazing pitching on the opposite side there by Max Fried. Sometimes you end up getting games that end up, not being what we saw in yesterday's game, where you saw home run after home run after home run, and then you had a 11-5 final. So All right, baby. Let's see who's up next for the Yankees here. Let's see if they can add on. Next up, 0 for 2 with a K, second baseman Yorby Vivas. Batting second, 1 for 3, center fielder Trent Grisham. And batting third, right fielder Aaron Judge. And we're bringing in Brash, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Brash and then Munoz. Uh-oh. If Brash is on, this could end up being a 1-0 game. Not saying that the Mariners can't get any more, but, you know, it's been pretty light today for the Mariners bats. Brash and Munoz, baby. Let's go. Great to see Brash getting in. And again, you know, we were hoping at some point, you know, Vargas was going to, you know, be better and some of the other individuals. But again, there's not very many trustworthy guys in the pen. I feel like Brash is, Gabe is, Munoz might be the best closer in baseball, but like you have to be able to get to him and have a lead to actually have him in. So we got Ben Rice pinch hitting. First pitch is low and away. 1-0 count to Ben Rice from Matt Brash. One 0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ben Rice from Matt Brash. Let's go, Matt. Matt, fresh off Tommy John, but he's looked pretty awesome since he's come back to the team. And again, we need it. We don't have very many guys that we can really trust, you know, in the pen. So pitch is low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike from Brash to Ben Rice. Rice, 256 average, 9 homers, 20 ribbies with an OPS of 918 here in 2025. Strike right down the middle. Ooh, sexy. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Brash to Rice. Let's go, Matt. My favorite guy on our team in the pen, and Rice strikes out swinging, baby. And that's what happens when you actually have someone that's in the pen that's good. Way to go, Matt Brash. You're fucking electric. Even better than Gabe Spire, baby. Next up, 1 for 3, Trent Grisham. That's a good question. The last time the Yankees were shut out. Are you talking about just like in general or from the Mariners? But it feels like this game is going to be a 1-0 final to me, unless our bats come alive in the bottom of the 8th. But I could definitely see us, you know, just having a very quick 1-2-3, depending on who's pitching for them. And then we bring in Munoz and then just mow him down, hopefully. And, you know, again, I would love for us to win 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, but it kind of feels like this could be a 1-0 win. April 8th versus Detroit, huh? After taking a strike looking, pitch low and away with a changeup. 1 ball and 1 strike from Brash to Grisham. 1-1 pitch, strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Brash to Grisham. Smoke his ass. And Brash, you know, has got good control. He, you know, if anything, he's kind of like the George Kirby of our starters. You know, he can throw heat, but he hits his location more times than not when he's healthy. And that's one thing that we've really been missing. You know, someone that isn't going to try to throw through the hitter, you know, where you get like Troy Taylor, you know, when he's on like late last year, but this year he's all over the place. And sometimes you need guys to not pitch so, you know, fast. You know, guys that will be pitching in the high 80s rather than guys that are pitching in the mid 90s or close to 100, but they have no control. They're just trying to throw through the hitter. Sometimes that shit don't work. And Brash is, you know, going to have more control like a Kirby. So we'll see what we get here. Pitch is low and inside, tries to jam the hitter. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Trent Grisham. Let's go. Top of the 8th, 1-0 Seattle. Pitch fouled off with that sinker low and away. Count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. And literally the 2 guys that we would want, Brash and Munoz. And and on my social media posts, I did put Munoz on the post instead of Wu because I had a feeling that we would see him today, and maybe that would be a good luck charm for us here today. Come on, Brash. We've missed you. Imagine if we would have had Brash at the beginning of the year. In play. And a single to left by Grisham. Now we have a good chance for a double play here, hopefully. Next up, 1 for 3 with a K, right fielder Aaron Judge. And we know how great Aaron Judge is. He's the best player in MLB 2025, statistically speaking. But hopefully we can find a way to get him out. Top of the 8th with a runner at first with 1 out. First pitch, takes a strike swinging, outside of the zone. Nice pitch by Brash, baiting him there, 0-1 count. I mean, obviously this game could go many, many ways. I mean, we could end up blowing the game right here, or we can find a way to get out of the inning like we did with Gabe Spire in the 7th. And again, if we get out of this inning and we have Munoz in the 9th, we can win. Takes a strike swinging, high and away. Brash knows what he's doing. Behind him the count now 0-2 for Judge. Let's go, baby. Come on now. And there's not too many guys that I would have confidence on getting Judge out, but Brash and Munoz definitely are 2 guys that I would be confident in. I mean, if anybody can get a guy like Judge out, it's those 2 guys when they're healthy, respectively speaking. Top of the 8th, runner at first, Grisham with 1 out, 1-0 Mariner lead. Brash, brush off Tommy John. And there it is, baby. I'm telling you, my ESP is on. Got him, baby. Put your faith in Brash, baby. The best guy in our pen, period. Not named Andres Munoz. Let's fucking go. We ended up getting Ben Rice out. We ended up getting Aaron Judge out. Now, Cody Bellinger. Smoke his ass. Let's go, Matt. You know what to do. Top of the 8th, runner at first with 2 outs. Brash on the mound, Bellinger in the box. First pitch, takes a strike, looking in the zone, 0-1 count. And we haven't really seen a guy that has this type of control, right? And this kind of confidence and swagger and aura and whiz. But the reason is he's not pitching 95 to 100. He's pitching, 80 to 87. And again, when you do that, you have more control. Fouled it off. Now ahead of the count, 0-2. We're going to win this game 1-0 with Munoz closing the door. Top of the 8th, runner at first with 2 outs, 1-0 Seattle. Brash on the mound with Munoz coming in the 9th and Bellinger in the box. 0-2 pitch, outside, low and away with a knuckle curve. Try to pop that out there. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Brash to Bellinger. Paisley's in here. She wants to see the action. Pitch is low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Brash to Bellinger. Top of the 8th, runner at first, Trent Grisham with 2 outs. We were able to get Ben Rice and the most important one, Aaron Judge, out. And we just got to get Cody Bellinger out here. Come on, Brash. And we got Luis Castillo on the mound tomorrow. We got him, baby. I told you. In play, flies out to center. And again, I'm not going to be right, 100% of the time. Nobody is. But I feel like if you compare me to anybody that does baseball on YouTube and you look at, how the game progresses, you're going to have more correct predictions here on a daily basis than anywhere else. Facts. There we go, baby. And Brash does his job. Nice job, my guy. And let's see if we can get a little bit more insurance. But if not, I still feel confident that Munoz can mow him down. And we're in position to be able to bring him in because we have a 1-0 lead. All right, next up, 0 for 2 with a K, third baseman, Ben Williamson. Batting second, 0 for 3 with 2 Ks, shortstop, J.P. Crawford. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a run and a K, Julio Rodriguez. So obviously a great part of the order that if we were to get to 2 or 3 or 4, hell yeah, I'll take that. But if we do, end up not getting anything here or anything here or anything here, and then we got Munoz in, I feel that we can get the job done. So let's go. Again, it's just like, for me, it's, just the vibes that I feel. There's going to be times where, like yesterday, I predicted the meltdown. right? When it was 2-2, runners at second and third with no outs. I said, pull him. If you don't, RBI. It happened. And then we got an out, and I said, watch, 3-run homer, and it happened. So, again, you have to understand situational baseball, and, sometimes the manager will make the right call. Sometimes they won't. But, again, it definitely feels like, we can win this game, and we should win this game. And then we'll see what happens tomorrow with La Piedra on the mound. And if we win today, we're going to have a very good chance of winning tomorrow. Let's go Big Ben. Let's see if we can get some insurance. And sometimes, wanting, more runs, is great. But sometimes what you want is not what you get. And again, I think it would be kind of fitting if we end up winning this game 1-0. Now, if we do win 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, you're not going to hear anything on my end. I'm not going to complain, but sometimes you need to win games like this also, like as a springboard win, after getting your ass kicked by the Blue Jays and getting swept at home and then getting absolutely destroyed yesterday 11-5. Sometimes even a 1-0 win can really go a long ways, for the confidence, moving forward into that next game. First pitch from Weaver to Williamson. Four-seam fastball, 1-0 count. But we'll see how good Weaver does here. If he ends up not hitting the zone, hell, I'll take a 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 win, baby. Let's go. Let's go, Big Ben. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking with a four-seam fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike from Weaver to Williamson. And Williamson flies out to right, 1 away. I told you, bro, you got to have patience. And even though when you guys were down, the team is destined to win the championship this year. $5 holla. Appreciate you. It'll be a good day. A Thunder win and a Mariner win. Next up, 0 for 3 with 2 Ks, JP Crawford. Let's go, JP. $5 holla. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 53, 47 to go to hit the goal. First pitch takes a strike swinging on a four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour by Weaver, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, change up low and away, 88 miles an hour by Weaver, 1 ball and 1 strike to JP Crawford. Let's go, JP. Bring that electricity, baby. Now, Judge already had his at-bat, so no more at-bats for Judge. 1-1 pitch. Outside of the zone, low and away, fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Weaver to JP Crawford. Judge had an at-bat in the last inning and struck out. 2-1 pitch. High and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Weaver to JP. Let's go, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We got 65 people in the room, and we got at least 30 that haven't smashed the like button. So we only need 5 people out of 30 to do it, and we hit the goal. So let's get there. 2-2 pitch, fouled off. Tries to jam the hitter. 2 balls, 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Weaver on the mound, JP Crawford in the box. And obviously, if we end this inning with nothing, we'll be bringing in Andres Munoz to kick the door down and hopefully win this game 1-0. Pitch is low and away. The count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. Come on, JP. And I kind of like winning 1-0 sometimes. It's like you don't get that many wins throughout the season. If you play 162 games, you probably have like 3 or 4, times that you're going to win 1-0. But again, I don't know if it's because the sports gods, they're listening and they usually take what I say to heart, but down goes JP, 2 away. But, again, I'm not going to be right 100% of the time, but I usually have a pretty good vibe on what's going to happen. Next up is Julio Rodriguez, 1 for 3 with a run and a K. And it would be fantastic if he goes for a solo dinger, but if I had to put money on it, chances are he'll probably be out. And then we'll be up 1-0. We bring in Andres Munoz. We knock the door down, and then we win 1-0. First pitch, fouled off. Pitch is inside. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by Weaver, 0-1 count. Go, J-Rod. But I'll tell you what, if Julio goes yard, you're not going to hear me complain. 2-0 is better than 1-0. That's for damn sure. Wow. How did they not catch that in foul territory? Good effort, though, by the Yankees on that first pitch by Weaver. Bottom of the 8th, nobody on, 2 outs, 1-0 lead by the Mariners. And a great job by Matt Brash in the previous inning, baby. Pitch fouled off, inside, behind the count now 0-2. And you know what happens when Julio has an 0-2 count. But we'll see if he gets out of it here. Bottom of the 8th. Weaver on the mound, Julio in the box, and your boy is that ESP. There it is. Julio strikes out swinging, and we have a 1-0 lead. There we go. My ESP is fucking strong, let me tell you. Just didn't feel like we were going to get anything in that inning. Let's see who's up next here for the Yankees. Their last effort in the top of the 9th. Leading off for the Yankees, 0 for 3, first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. Batting second, 1 for 3, and a K, catcher Austin Wells. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a base on ball and a K, shortstop Anthony Volpe. You know what time it is, baby. He gets all the photos. 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Moose. Let's go. This is must win for us. Paul Goldschmidt, Austin Wells, Anthony Volpe. Let's go, baby. Mow him down. Chew him up, spit him out. And then we got Luis Castillo on the bump tomorrow at 1:10 Pacific. And I'll be live for that as well. And if you notice, we didn't have a comment after I mentioned the, the betting. Because again, seems like when everyone wants the win for the bet, it ends up backfiring, most of the time. So, all right, baby. Andres Munoz, baby. Let's go. And we know, Munoz, most of the time is lights out, and every once in a while has a shaky outing. But I feel that this is going to be a 1-0 win. Let's see if I'm correct. First pitch fouled off by Munoz to Goldschmidt. 0-1 count. Top of the ninth with nobody on. 0-1 pitch. Pitches inside with a slider. 1 ball and 1 strike from Munoz to Goldschmidt. Well, last time that we had someone that said they had a bad feeling with Gabe Spire, I told you all we'd get out of the inning unscathed. And, even with runners at second and third with 1 out, we did. So we'll be fine. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging. Right down the pipe, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Paul Goldschmidt. Two-one pitch, slider, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Munoz to Goldschmidt. Come on, baby. Top of the ninth, 1-0, Seattle lead. Munoz on the mound, Paul Goldschmidt in the box. And again, definitely a complete different type of atmosphere and game yesterday with a lot more home runs and a final score of 11-5 from New York. But again, it was a pitching duel and in play and hit by a pitch. Damn it. Come on, Munoz. Next up, 1 for 3 with a K, catcher Austin Wells. And we need a double play now. Maybe we get a slow dribbler right up the middle. JP can end up getting us out here, but are they going to review it to see if it actually hit the bat or his hand? I appreciate that. Definitely not my first rodeo calling games. Oh, it hit the bat. That didn't even hit his hand. That hit the bat. That hit the bat. That did not even hit his hand. Why are they bringing him to first? Review that. Challenge that. At least in the replay that I saw, that hit the bat. That didn't hit his fucking fingers or his hand. That looked like bat to me. And I'm not just saying that because, we're rooting for the Mariners to win. I would say that if that was a Seattle player as well. Can we challenge that? There's no way in hell that hit his hands. Brutal. And Goldschmidt still second. Should have never even been on first. How did we not review that last play? I mean, just because a guy acts like he got hit doesn't mean that he did get hit. That was BS, man. I agree. And again, like I said, you call it right down the middle, no matter if it, benefits us or if it benefits the Yankees. Just get the call right. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging, low and inside at the knees. Behind in the count now, 0-2 for Austin Wells. 0-2 pitch. Pitches in the zone for a slider. Should have been strike 3. Called ball. What are the umps doing here? Like they give a guy a fucking hit by pitch that hit the bat. That should have been strike 3 right there on Wells, and they call a pitch that's right in the zone a ball. I don't understand what's going on here. Again, instead of it being 70-30, now it's like 85-15. Like they're literally getting every fucking call, and they're not getting calls that should be legit. Like that, it was in the zone. That should have been strike 3. We shouldn't even have Goldschmidt at second. In play. And grounded out to third. Reyes to third. 1 away. I guess we're just going to have to grind it out even though the umps are against us. Next up is shortstop Anthony Volpe. Good throw by Williamson to get that out. Come on, Mariners. 2 more outs. I mean, again, you have to be able to go through adversity and whatnot. And again, it definitely has been very one-sided on the calls by this ump. Top of the ninth, runner at third with 1 out, mound visit. But again, Goldschmidt got hit supposedly, but after the replay, they slowed it down. It hit the bat. It didn't even hit his fingers or his hand. He acted like he got hit. I don't know why we didn't review that. Then he steals second. And then obviously we should add a strike 3, and that doesn't get called. First pitch to Volpe, takes a strike swinging, low and at the knees with a slider, 0-1 count. But that's not something that Munoz can't battle. We can still find a way to win this game 1-0. And it almost would be, just as fitting. We're getting screwed over and we still find a way to win. Come on, Munoz. I have faith in you. I still feel that we can win this 1-0. Top of the 9th, runner at third with 1 out. Munoz on the mound, Volpe in the box. Could be 2 outs with nobody on, if we're really being honest. And Jesus Christ. And they tie the game up with the fielder's choice. Volpe grounds into a fielder's choice into first. Throw is wild, and he scores. Now we got a runner at second with the game tied 1-1. Brutal. Where we should have probably won this game 1-0. What kind of shitty-ass throw was that by Dylan Moore, you idiot? First pitch from Munoz to Dominguez, 10 feet off the plate, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike swinging low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jason Dominguez. Now we're going to have to pray that we can win 2-1 in 10. Or, obviously, here in the bottom of the 9th. Let's just call this game down the middle. Let's stop having favoritism. Especially when the calls are blatant. Pitch fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Munoz to Dominguez. Yeah, terrible throw by Demo to Cal. If he just would have thrown it, with some touch, we could have gotten the runner out at home. Top of the 9th, 1-1. Yankees and Mariners tied up. And Dominguez strikes out looking. There we go, 2 away. Down goes Dominguez. Next up, 0 for 3 with a K, third baseman Oswald Peraza. Well, hopefully we can still find a way to win 2-1 in the 9th. All right, 1 more out, and we still have the 9th inning to be able to get something done. And then you got Aaron Boone got ejected, but what are you bitching about? Literally, you've gotten 85% of the calls today. The Mariners have gotten 15, and literally you got the calls at the end of the game that shouldn't have even happened, right? You say your guy got hit, by the pitch, and he didn't, and ended up getting on base, and that was the guy that ended up scoring. And then we should have had a strike 3 that wasn't even called. So again, bitching for no reason. It's dude, if the Mariners got 85% of the calls, then fine. You want to come out here and scream and yell, so be it. But it's dude, when your team is getting all the favoritism, and all the calls, 85 to 15%, give me a break, dude. If the Yankees legitimately were able to get on base, if he actually did get hit, and if, you ended up getting a walk or, a pitch that was, a ball called strike or a strike called ball, so be it. But, when blatantly things are in the strike zone, not even on the line, in the zone within the box, and you call it a ball when it should have been strike 3, come on, dude. Pitch fouled off there by Peraza, now behind in the count 0-2. Like, what's the point of, coming out there? Like, you're already getting all the calls. Like, to try to, juice up the team since you were down 1-0 the whole game. Pitch fouled off low and at the knees. But still behind in the count, 0-2. One more strike right here, and then we can win it, hopefully, in the bottom of the ninth with a walk-off. Let's go. Get out of here, Devin. Pitch is outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Munoz to Peraza. Top of the ninth, runner at second with 2 outs. Game knotted off at 1. Munoz on the mound, Peraza in the box. 1-2 pitch. High and inside with that slider, 84 miles an hour. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runner at second with 2 outs. Munoz on the mound, Peraza in the box. I mean, normally when I see games, it's like maybe 60-40 for the other team, but I don't think I've seen a game all year that's been this lopsided, where it's been like 85% Yankees, 15 Mariners. Like, it's ridiculous, especially at the end of the game where it could, make the difference of the outcome. Pitch is high and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second with 2 outs. Munoz on the mound, Peraza in the box. I mean, I get it. If it ends up being 50-50, great. But, with umps, sometimes it'll be 60-40 or 65-35. But I haven't seen a game all year that's been 85-15 or 90-10. And that's what we're getting here today. Pitch fouled off. Count still now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runner at second with 2 outs. Come on, Munoz. Top of the ninth, runner at second. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Come on, Munoz. But this is probably, out of all the games that I've called, which is pretty much every game besides like one, this is definitely the poorest officiated game that I've seen. And we get out of the inning, but not after the damage was done. Because again, when they ended up sending the runner to first, and Goldschmidt, he didn't even get hit. And then ended up stealing second, and he was the guy that ended up coming home. So we should have won this game 1-0, but, whatever. I guess that's just how, you have to roll with the punches, and, even when the umps are against you. And now we have a chance to win here in the bottom of the ninth. Let's see who's up next for the Mariners. Next up for Seattle, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a K. Big dumper, catcher Cal Raleigh. It would be amazing if he just goes with a walk-off, first pitch homer. Let's get it over with. Batting second, 0 for 3 with a K, left fielder Randy Arozarena. And batting third, DHing, 1 for 3 with a K, Mitch Garver. Will he homer like in this photo? Will we get this to happen? Trident's up? We'll wait and find out. Or will Randy Arozarena be the hero? If anyone is overdue for a homer, it might be Randy. Cal, Randy, Mitch. Trident's up. Let's go. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We're only 1 like away from 50. And again, there's at least 50 people in the room that haven't done it. So it shouldn't be that hard to get one person to be able to get us to the number. Let's go. And then we're at, 50? What are we at? 53? 47 to go on the Dono train. There we go. All right, come on, Mariners. I mean, we've been screwed all day. Nothing would be sweeter than seeing Cal just fucking hit it out and have the game just end right there. But again, we got 3 guys that can do it. Cal, Randy, and Mitch. Let's go. Come on, big dumper. 1 for 3 with an RBI in the fourth. in play on the first pitch, grounds out to first. I wish he would have been a little bit more patient there. 1 away. That was a waste of that bat for Cal Raleigh. Batting second, left fielder Randy Arozarena. And we can't like get out in 3 pitches in this inning, because the longer the game goes, the more the momentum shifts to the Yankees, because they got the umps on their side. You know, it's going to take a lot to be able to emotionally bounce back from what happened in that top of the ninth to us. First pitch, takes a strike looking on the line from Weaver. 0-1 count. Elliott in the building. What's good? Takes a strike swinging. Finding the count now 0-2. Weaver on the mound. Randy Arozarena in the box. Bottom of the ninth. We're tied up at 1. Nobody on with 1 out. And Randy with an 0-2 count. Come on, baby. Pitch is low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Weaver to Arozarena. Yeah, great comeback there from the Thunder. It's never over till it's over, baby. And they are going to win the championship this year. Book it. One-two pitch, fouled off, high and away with that four-seam fastball by Weaver, 95 miles an hour. Bottom of the ninth, 1 out, nobody on. We're tied up at 1. Should have won this game 1-0, but you know that's what happens when the umps are against you. But definitely the most lopsided game from any ump that I've seen all year. Just call it down the middle, baby. It's not that hard. 1-2 pitch. Pitch is high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Weaver to Randy Arozarena. Come on, Randy. If anyone is due for a homer, it's you. And Arozarena strikes out swinging, 2 away. All right. Last but not least, 1 for 3 and a K. And he walked off in this photo. So will this have us, give us a little good juju and good vibes? Even though this was quite a long time ago. Could he do it again? Could Mitch Garver be the hero? Let's find out. Oh, baby, baby, baby. Yeah, and this is going to be a critical win for, whoever gets it. And Garv in play on the first pitch, grounds out to the shortstop, and that's it. Now we're going to extras. That was a terrible bottom of the ninth for the Mariners there. No patience really from either of the 3 hitters, and now the momentum shifts to New York after what happened. But, whoever wins this game, not only has a better chance of winning tomorrow, but gaining more momentum. We already got swept by the Blue Jays, and then we lost game 1, 11-5. If we lose this, there's a very high probability that we lose tomorrow, and we end up getting swept in 2 consecutive series after winning 9 consecutive series in a row. Now, unless Luis Castillo pitches lights out, but again, if our bullpen is shaky, anything can be possible, or that could happen. But still got to have some faith here. But now with no more Munoz, now we bring in Vargas. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't trust Vargas one bit. And they're bringing in DJ LeMahieu. I believe it'll go DJ LeMahieu, Trent Grisham, and then Aaron Judge. Come on, Mariner Moose. Yeah, but the OKC Denver Nugget, series is going to be the best series in the playoffs. Period. Like once that's over, that's like essentially the West Final. Even though there's still another opponent, because I think if OKC goes against the T-Wolves, that might be over in 5, maybe 6. But it's going to be kind of smooth sailing the rest of the way if they get past the Nuggets, which they will. They'll be able to beat the T-Wolves in 5 or 6, and then if they end up playing the Knicks or the Pacers, they can win in 5 or 6. First pitch, fouled off from Vargas to LeMahieu, 0-1 count. Hopefully Vargas doesn't lose this game for us like he did in that Blue Jay game where he gave up 3 runs late. Come on, Carlos. Pitch inside at the knees from Carlos Vargas to DJ LeMahieu. 1 ball and 1 strike here in the top of the 10th with a ghost runner at second. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Vargas to LeMahieu. And LeMahieu strikes out swinging. There we go, 1 away. Down goes DJ. Next up, 2 for 4, center fielder Trent Grisham. On deck, Aaron Judge. Yeah, but honestly, there's not really a lot of Yankee fans. It's more people that are betting on parlays and bets. It's going to be rare where you're actually going to have a diehard Yankee fan. You might have, a couple, but most are going to be betting, for the Yankees so they can win money. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, in the zone, behind in the count now 0-2. Top of the 10th with a runner at second with 1 out. Vargas on the mound. Grisham in the box. Behind in the count 0-2. Let's see if Vargas can get us out of this inning. 0-2 pitch. Low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Vargas to Grisham. Top of the 10th, runner at second. We're knotted up at 1. 1-2 pitch, slider, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Vargas to Grisham. We need to get out of this inning somehow, some way. Try to find a way to win this game 2-1. But again, last time that we've seen Vargas against the Blue Jays, the game was 3-3, and then he ended up giving up 3 runs, and we lost 6-3. So hopefully we don't have a repeat performance of what we saw him against Toronto. I'm still bamboozled that they didn't review that play where they say that Goldschmidt got hit. That should have been more of an extended review. Pitch is inside. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes from Vargas to Grisham. Mitch Haniger was one of those guys. He gave, his heart and soul to the team, but kind of at the end of his career, he didn't really have it anymore. Did he come up big, for us at certain points last season? Yeah, but I don't think he was really one of my favorites. He was just kind of a role player. He wasn't, like a Kyle Seager or anything like that. And Grisham strikes out swinging. Nice job there by Vargas. And we don't say that often. Nice job, Carlos. Next up, right fielder, Aaron Judge. And we're going to intentionally walk Aaron Judge, no doubt. And that's what they did. All right, next up, 1 for 4. Left fielder, Cody Bellinger. Yeah, absolutely. It kind of sucks that they had to wait for him to die before they were going to allow him to get in and whatnot. But, number 1 in hits, a guy that always hustled, nicknamed Charlie Hustle. Again, obviously at that time, betting was very frowned upon and whatnot, especially if you're a manager of the team that you're betting for or against. But, it's not like the same thing of doing steroids or PEDs. None of those guys should make it. Vaughn, Sosa, McGuire, Clemens, Palmeiro, none of those guys. But Pete Rose should be in. 1-0 pitch, high and away from Vargas to Bellinger, 2-0 count. Top of the 10th, runners at first and second with 2 outs. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. Nice pitch by Vargas there with that sinker. 96 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike to Cody Bellinger. Yeah, 100%. And that started the momentum for them. We should have won this game 1-0. Not only that the bogus hit by pitch, but then the batter after that, it was, 0-2 count, and then it should have been strike 3. The pitch was in the zone, and they called it ball. But again, Vargas does it, gets us out of the inning there. But again, it was multiple things. It was Goldschmidt not getting hit, and then him getting to first and stealing second. Then the next batter, it was an 0-2 count, pitch right down the middle. They called ball in the zone, not even on the line. Then that should have been another out. And then obviously the bad throw by Demo home, but that runner shouldn't even have been there, But again, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But again, out of all the games that I've called, which is pretty much every game besides one that I've called this year, I've called pretty much like every game, but besides like one game this year, this is definitely the worst officiating by any ump that we've seen up to this point. And I know that we're probably going to see this type of officiating again, where it's like, 85% Yankees, 15% Mariners, or 90-10 or 95-5. But what can we do? There was nothing that we can do besides just grind out a victory. And again, this is a must-win game for us. They're playing with house money, beating our ass 11-5 yesterday. And we got Luis Castillo on the mound tomorrow. At this point is our second best pitcher because we don't trust Bryce Miller, Logan Evans, or Emerson Hancock. So this is something where we got to dig deep. And I still think that we can win this game 2-1. Next up, second baseman, Dylan Moore. And after Dylan Moore, we're going to get Leo Rivas, and maybe he'll be the guy that makes the difference for us here today, even though Leo should be playing fucking every day. All right, so we're going to go Demo, we're going to go Leo, and then we're going to go Leody Taveras. We can win with that. Demo, Leo pinch hitting for Polo, and then Leody Taveras. Let's get it done here. Oh, they're going to go Miles Mastroboni. Golly, they don't even trust Demo, huh? All right, I guess we're going to go Miles Mastroboni, Leo, and Leody. All right, Miles. All right, Mastroboni pinch hitting for Demo. So we got Mastroboni, Rivas coming in for Polo, and then Leody Taveras, unless they have someone come in for him. But at the moment, that's what we're looking at. Unless we get like Rowdy Tellez coming in for Leody or something. And First bunt attempt of the game, but it goes foul by Masterboni. Should have been bunting, throughout this whole game, but what can you do? Come on, Miles. Bottom of the 10th with a runner at second. We're knotted up at 1. 0-1 count after that bunt goes foul. Now, again, I don't think people realize how important bunting is to the game. It's literally, if you know how to do it correctly, you can get on base more times than even getting a normal base hit. And typically when pitchers and third basemen run towards a bunt, they try to barehand it, and usually it ends up being wild. Sacrifice hit bunt to the catcher, Garver to third. There we go, 1 away. I'm telling you, bunting is the way to go. I love seeing that. Great bunt attempt right there, right in front of the pitcher. Beautiful. And now we got Rowdy Tellez is hitting for Leo Rivas. We don't even get Leo. But now we got a runner at third with 1 out. We can win this game. We need this game. Let's go, Rowdy. Rowdy can get the RBI win right here. You remember a couple games ago, we had Polo and Rowdy pinch hit late. They were sitting on the bench for 3 hours, and they had back-to-back hits, and we won. So, again, Rowdy is a guy that's known for home runs, right? Either home run or strikeout. But again, Rowdy is a guy that can get you a RBI single, and he's been pretty good at it, especially in that Toronto series. Not the one that we played recently where we got swept, but the one in Toronto during WrestleMania weekend where he hit the solo jack, and then he ended up having the grand salami. And he's been pretty hot since that point. Bottom of the 10th with a runner at third, Mitch Garver. 1-1 game. Rowdy Tellez, let's go. 3 more likes to 60. Let's get there. First pitch from Williams to Tellez. Takes a strike looking in the zone. 0-1 count. Come on, Rowdy. Can't do a squeeze when you have a slow-ass player like Garver. Now, if Leo Rivas was at third base, yeah, maybe you could do a squeeze if you want to be ballsy, but again, not with Mitch Garver. I mean, essentially, it's like having Rowdy at third. Those guys are slow. Takes a strike looking in the zone. Behind in the count now 0-2 from Williams to Les. Bottom of the 10th, runner at third, Mitch Garver, 1 out, and we're knotted up at 1. Come on, Mariners. Come on, baby. Let's go. Bottom of the 10th. 0-2 count from Williams to Tellez. Runner at third, Mitch Garver with 1 out. In play. And flied out to center. 2 away. I was hoping that was going to drop. All right, here it is. Our last effort. 0 for 2 with a base on ball and a K. The former Texas Ranger, now Seattle Mariner. Can you be the hero? Right fielder, Leody Taveras. Come on, Leody. Jacob in the building. What's good? Yeah, but I think you already knew that, with all the injuries that you've had, and also the lack of an experience. It's looking like you're going to get Knicks Pacers, but neither of those teams are good enough to win the championship. And after OKC beats Denver, they'll take care of the T-Wolves and, smooth sailing from there. 0-1 pitch. Pitch is outside, about 10 feet from Williams. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at third with 2 outs. We're knotted up at 1 here in the bottom of the 10th. But the Cavs had a good regular season, but sometimes injuries can really derail a team like the Cavs and the Celtics. One pitch, change up, low and inside the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Williams to Taveras. Bottom of the 10th, runner at third with 2 outs. We're knotted up at 1. Mitch Garver at third, Leody Taveras in the box. Yeah, that last pitch was in the zone based off the graph. I mean, on the TV graph, it had it low, but on the other graphs through like MLB and ESPN, it's in the zone. But on TV, it showed obviously low and out of the zone. Pitches high and outside with the four-seam fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Williams to Taveras. But I'm always looking at multiple screens. You know, I look at the game screen and all the different apps that come up through MLB.com as well as ESPN and a few others. So, you know, most of the time they're pretty locked in, but every once in a while it'll be a little off. 2-2 pitch. Four-seam fastball is fouled off by Leody Taveras. Count still remains 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at third with the game knotted up at 1. Bottom of the 10th with 2 outs. Mitch Garver at third. We just need a Leody Taveras single to win the game. Come on, baby. Let's go. Come on, Leody. 2-2 pitch, fouled off. Count remains 2-2. I'm not really sure if I trust ESPN or MLB or the game itself, you know, because again, you know, it's not all synced up together. So it's, you know, based on what you see, right? And obviously what we see on the game screen, it was a ball, but, you know, on ESPN and MLB, they had it in the zone for a strike. So go figure. Two-two pitch, fouled off. Count remains still 2 balls, 2 strikes with a runner at third with 2 outs. Bottom of the 10th, we're knotted up at 1. Come on, Leody. And in play and grounded out to second. And that is the end of the 10th inning. Brutal. Now, if they were all synced, you know, and linked together, then that might be one thing. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to trust ESPN over, you know, MLB or the actual game. But again, you know, the strike zones are all going to be speculative, I guess, right? But we can only just judge it based on what we see with our eyes. All right, Pablo Reyes is going to be pinch hitting next for the Yankees. Pablo Reyes, Austin Wells, and then Anthony Volpe. All right. Pablo Reyes, Austin Wells, Anthony Volpe. Then we got Casey Legomina in the game. First pitch from Legomina to Reyes. Four-seam fastball outside of the zone, 1-0 count. Top of the 11th with the runner at second, 1-1, Yankees and Mariners. Come on, Casey. One 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the pipe. Legomina, 1 ball, 1 strike to Pablo Reyes here in the top of the 11th. Come on, Mariners, find a way. Dig deep here. Let's go. In play. And grounded out to the shortstop, Bellinger to third, 1 away. Next up, Austin Wells. First pitch, takes a strike swinging, tries to jam the hitter. Low and at the knees, 0-1 count from Casey Legomina to Austin Wells. Wells with a double in seventh, stolen base, 216 average, 8 homers, 28 ribbies with an OPS of 760. Come on, Casey. In play. And popped out to first, 2 away. Here we go. Come on, Mariners, hold them at third. And next up for the Yankees, shortstop Anthony Volpe. Top of the 11th, runner at third with 2 outs. And Casey Legomina on the mound, and Anthony Volpe in the box. First pitch, high and away, 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Come on, Mariners. Got to find a way. 1-0 pitch. Pitches outside with the sweeper. 2-0 count from Legomina to Volpe. 2-0 pitch in the zone with a sweeper. 2 balls and 1 strike from Legomina to Volpe. Top of the 11th with 2 outs. Runner at third. We're tied up at 1. And again, I really feel that we should have won this game 1-0 if the officiating and the umping was fair. But I don't think I've seen a game as lopsided with the calls than today's game. I can't wait to be able to see the ump report card when it comes out through those, MLB sites on social media. Takes a strike looking. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Legomina to Volpe. 2-2 pitch. Pitches outside with a 4-seam fastball. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs with a runner at third. We're in the top of the 11th, knotted up at 1, and something's got to give. Come on, Legomina. But it's definitely been very one-sided. And Volpe walks. Brutal. Runners at first and third now with 2 outs. Next up is Jason Dominguez. Top of the 11th. Runners on the corners at first and third with 2 outs. Dominguez 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. Casey Legomina on the bump. .242 average, 5 homers, 19 ribbies. 0 for 4 with a flyout and 3 strikeouts as we have a mound visit with Cal and Casey Legomina to try to get on the same page here. First pitch, fouled off with the sinker. 0-1 count from Legomina to Dominguez. Matt in the building. What's good, brother? .01 pitch, high and away with a 4-seam fastball by Legomina. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners on the corners at first and third with 2 outs, and we're knotted up at 1 here in the top of the 11th. Come on, Mariners. And play. And grounded out to second. Got him. There we go. Nice job, Mariners. We're still alive, baby, even with runners on the corners. Hell yeah. All right, baby. Now it's time to win the game here in the bottom of the 11th. Let's get this shit over with. And if there was anybody that we wanted to have up, it was Jason Dominguez. He's been choking today. And, anytime you go 0 for 5, we'll take that. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 3 with a K, Ben Williamson. Dropped the bunt? We'll find out. Batting second, 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. Dropped the bunt, JP Crawford. And batting third, a guy that could be the hero for us here in the 11th, if it gets to that point, 1 for 4 with a run and 2 Ks, Julio Rodriguez. Come on, baby. Let's win this game. Trident's up. It kind of feels like we can win it here. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us out with the metrics and the algorithm. What are we at? We're at, what, 58? We need 2 more to get to 60. Let's see if we can get to 70 before the game ends. We need 12 more to get to 70. Let's go. And we got 104 in the building, so there's at least half of the people in the room that haven't done it yet, so. Oh, what a game, what a game, what a game. But again, Mariners were in control for a good chunk of this game. Just to give you guys a quick update, it was obviously a pitching duel with, Max Fried and Brian Wu. Fried coming into this game with a 6-0 record with an ERA of 1.05. But again, it was pretty much, Mariners for, it was low scoring and not really a whole lot of action. Again, Cal Raleigh doubled the center. Julio scored in the bottom of the 4th to give us the 1-0 lead. And then obviously Volpe grounded out to a fielder's choice to first. And Reyes scored on a throwing error by Demo. And then Volpe scored. But in that whole, process in the bottom of the 9th, they had Goldschmidt supposedly got hit by the pitch, but it hit his bat, stole second. And then after that, we had a strike 3 that was nullified by a ball call. And then everything kind of went all to hell at that point. But, Yankees are a team that doesn't quit, but this Mariner team is the same. So this is the best team that we've had in 24 years since our 2001 team. So let's try to grind out a win here, especially after getting swept by the Blue Jays and we lost yesterday 11-5. We need this. Yankees are playing with house money. Hill on the mound, Big Ben Williamson in the box. First pitch to Ben, fouled off right down the middle with a sinker, 95, 85 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Come on, Big Ben. In play. And Williamson singles to center. Taveras to third. We're going to win, baby. We're going to win. Runners on the corners with no outs. We got this now, baby. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Way to bring that electricity. Leote at third. Williamson at first. JP Crawford. Let's go, baby. You know what to do. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Trident's up. Let's get this. Let's go, JP. Let's go, Crawdaddy. You know what to do, baby. 266 average, 3 homers in 2025. All we need is an RBI single, and the game is over. And that'll give us that good Uncle Mo and that momentum with Luis Castillo on the bump tomorrow at 1:10 Pacific, and I will be live for that as well. Let's go, baby. Let's go, JP. In play, and it's over, baby. Let's go. JP Crawford singles to left. Taveras scores. Mariners win. Mariners win. Mariners win. Woo! Ooh, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Woo! Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Woo! Hell yeah. There it is, baby. What an emotional win, and that's what we needed after getting screwed over by the umps in this game. Woo! Let's go! Crawford single to left. Taveras scores from third. Williamson goes to second. Let's go! Hell yeah. What a game. After getting screwed over by the umps, we needed that. Hell yeah. Final score in 11, Seattle Mariners 2, New York Yankees 1. And when the Mariners win, what do? We fucking dance. Mariners win. Mariners win. Mariners win. Fuck yeah. Let's go. I'm going to remember this one. And this hopefully will be a springboard win, just like when we were down 5-0 to the Astros in the 8th inning and we scored 7 runs in the 8th and the 9th and won 7-6. This is the same type of impactful springboard game that can help us not only tomorrow, but for the next series and the next series after that. Nice job, Mariners. Tridents up. Let's go. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Let's go. Yeah, baby. Reflect with a tenor. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. With a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Let's go. And for all of the, people that were just betting, that's what happens. Don't ever bet against Brian Wu, baby. Especially when, it's crazy to think, with Max Fried, 6-0, ERA of 1.05, and we still found a way to win. Feels good. Brian Wu is the man. Let's go. Anything that you want to be able to do photo-wise, reflect before we go? And shout out to Odin's son for the $25 dono before the stream even started this morning. And obviously Reflect with a 3-er, Megan with a 20, Captain with a 5-er, Reflect with a 10-er, Captain and Reflect, the two people that donated last. Anything that you guys want to be able to see? Yeah, well, we're not. When I talk about the Yankees and the betting, that's excluding you. So, you're a regular here on the channel, but I'm just talking about a bunch of the looky-loos that come in and want to just talk shit, and they don't really care about being a Yankee fan. They just want to win money for a particular bet on that particular day. So, anytime I talk about Yankees or betting, it obviously has nothing to do with you. Anything photo-wise that I can get before I go? I still got to go take Paisley on a long walk and eat a late dinner here. Yeah, baby. Tridents up. Let's go. Ha ha. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And we'll be live tomorrow at 1:10 Pacific. Go fucking Mariners. Final score in 11. Seattle Mariners 2, New York Yankees 1. And again, we still have a chance to be able to win the series tomorrow with La Piedra, Luis Castillo on the mound. And I will be live at 1:10 Pacific. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Tridents up. Go M's.